And we're back. Happy Friday, everybody. How you doing? Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Eve, Easter Eve. It's the eve of Easter weekend. I'm excited. I'm always excited. Any day that's a holiday that gives me a reason to cook, eat, or celebrate, I'm all for it. So, guys, happy Friday. Come on in. I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, as you know, unless you're new here. And if you're new here, hit that like button, hit all notifications, and hype my videos if you can. Good to see you guys. Happy Friday. I told you I was going to do something. Now, it's not like this is fun. Like, true crime isn't fun, but there's a way to present true crime in a way that's not boring, terrible, awful, disrespectful, all of that, right? Now, this case, Letecia Stauch and Gannon Stauch, this case has haunted me since the beginning. Now, it started in 2020, guys, and that was COVID. That was when COVID came. So, guys, I was stuck on every second of this case. I watched every minute of the trial, every minute of the interrogations. I watched Al and Leticia's communications on the phone. Oh my God. I cannot believe that Leticia's conviction has been overturned for a new trial. Now, I bring that to you to say we're going to talk about why Gannon Stauch's case is back in court, why Letecia Stauch is going to be there, and what happened in between there. So if you know zero about this case, that's okay, because I'm going to get you started off right. If you know about this case, great, because we're going to watch the highlights of it. Whatever. Happy Friday. Nancy Guthrie, day 62, still hasn't been found. But we're not going to cover that because other people need coverage. All right, cool and Chris started off with the Guilty of Crime membership. Thank you so much for that. If you received the membership, please thank her. I'll say hi to you guys and then we'll get going. Allie, what's up? Sadie's mama, always a big hug. Clar, my girl. Mwah. Happy Easter to you all. If you celebrate, whatever. It's a day to hang out with the fam, eat, and well, the birth of the wait. I know that it's a birth. Was it? They say the birth of. No, that's Christmas. Easter Sunday. I know there's different kinds of religions. Easter Sunday. Let's see. Now I got to look it up because that's bothering me. We'd like to send you to. No, I don't want that. You guys tell me what Easter means to you, I guess. I mean, I know it's the resurrection of Jesus. I wanted to make sure I wasn't talking about Christmas, but everybody has something different. Some of my friends that have different cultures don't celebrate Easter. Some that are religious in another way, like Jehovah's Witness, don't celebrate Easter. So, that being said, just celebrate your life, that you woke up today, your family that you love, and those that surround you. All right. It's Easter Sunday. I just looked up and it says observed April 5th. Easter is also called Resurrection Sunday. I don't know why I can't say that in the Christian faith. So that's why I ask you. It's commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Again, I'm spiritual, guys, but I am not religious at all by any means. So whatever it is that you celebrate Easter for, well, celebrate it, all right? Because life goes fast. Kimberly, what's up? Good to see you. Andrea, how you doing? Deb is in the house. She says resurrection. Yeah, I don't celebrate it particularly for that, but resurrection, rose from the dead. It bothers me when you drink watermelon Red Bull. Oh man, dang it. I got a watermelon Red Bull right there. Let me take a sip for you real quick. That's so good. Oh man. I gotta take another drink. Ah, Allie, you need some Red Bull. All right, everybody. Happy freaking Friday. Allie's, you guys, I love you guys. I knew today was going to be a chill day, and I'm all with that. Yesterday, I had almost 14,000 views and 800 people in chat. But when I cover a case like this that's not in the trending topic necessarily, I get you guys. I get my loves. I get my people that are here every day, even if I'm talking about my dogs or my car. My dogs and my car. Country. All right. Giving the people what they love. Kiki, how you doing, girl? Good to see you. Laura, how you doing? Yeah, you never know what we're gonna do around here, and I do love talking to you guys when there's not 800 people in chat. Then I can really say hi to Honey Wills and Maggie and Allie and my girl Tiff and Cool and Chris and Tony and Mama Pearl. Yeah, I can actually interact when there's 800 people in chat. Sometimes I'll get a message and say, Jay, are you mad at me? You didn't say anything. Well, I can't see 800 people coming at once while I'm reading and presenting. So today, let's see who comes in. You guys are here. Let's get started. Now, listen, guys, who doesn't know about this case? That's probably a better. Okay, if you know about this case already, put a 1 in chat. But I'm going to go ahead and get everything anyway. She be yelling at me today, say, I need. You talk about me? Are you going to tell us about your boots? My boots, my truck, my dog? Yes. Yeah, you guys, everybody pretty much knows about this. That's probably the best way. So we're going to approach it from the perspective of this happened in 2020. I watched every minute of it. I remember it. And now we're going to see it again in court because justice for Gannon is not served as long as Letecia gets a new trial. She is evil, guys. She's evil. Evil AF. All right. Oh yeah, me. I'm so needy. I am pretty needy. I wake up, say, do this, do that. I need you to do this, do that. Are you there? Wake up. All right, guys. This is a horrible case, but I heard her name, but I don't know. I'm going to tell you, Allie, I am not going to tell you anything else until I tell you why. And we're going to do that with lawyer Lee as well, because I want to make sure that you understand that all 54 pages that were filed on April 2nd are People versus Stauch. Criminal law, structural freaking error, juror bias. You can't, there's nothing you can do to avoid that other than they should have kicked that person out from the beginning. Okay. Now, this little guy was, listen, justice for Gannon, say a prayer because Letecia Stauch is evil. I'm not even going to say she's said to have stabbed Gannon 18 times. She has been convicted. She is a convicted evil murderer. And I love that like Alex Erickson covers her. They cover the phone calls, etc. She is evil. Letecia Stauch did get she's been convicted of and sentenced because she stabbed Gannon 18 times before, hitting him in the head and shooting him once. And the shot went from here out. Now, Stauch was found guilty in 2023. This all started in 2022 when Gannon went missing. She was guilty on all counts, including first-degree murder, murder of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with a deceased human being. All right. She is evil AF the way she lied and went about this to her own stepson. Okay. So before I even get into any of the stuff about why, I want to show you just 2 quick clips of her just being really evil. And you can see the picture of her. She just looks like an evil beast, right? All right, let's take a look and then we'll get into the whys. And I thank Grizzly True Crime for making this more visible to see. Take a look at what she does. This is Letecia Stauch, March 4th, 2020. She gets extradited back to Colorado. Okay. Or I believe this was the extradition on March 4th. She killed Gannon at home, put him in a suitcase. And when law enforcement went to find him, Gannon's body was already in the garage in the suitcase. They just overlooked it. Then here comes a giant story. I just want to show you what an evil witch She is. Look what she did. She is undoing her handcuffs right now. Watch what she does. All right, I'm just gonna show you 2 evil clips, about 30 seconds, and then we're gonna get into what's happening right freaking now. She keeps threatening me. Stop. Oh, she keeps threatening me. And if you're already subbed up to Grizzly, don't worry about it. If you aren't, you definitely should sub up to Grizzly. Evil AF, like I said, she literally was being extradited back, and she said that she hit her with a Monster Energy drink, guys. And then she said, she did it. She did it. You guys saw it. Like she was like possessed or something in that video. You guys hear what I'm saying? All right. Yes, Car. She looked like she came out of a possession. Now, I also just want to show you a quick. This is how she acted in court the entire time. All right. Peace and serenity. What's up? Grizzly is amazing. I agree. Absolutely. She is. She does the best stuff. She puts out great content. Her content's so great, I can't use it because it's her own content and she's in it. But I do love Grizzly. That's where I got my inspiration from, was Grizzly True Crime. Now, listen, if you didn't watch this trial, this is the embodiment of the entire trial. Okay, this is the embodiment of it. Check this out. And yes, Janika J, I still can't believe he married her. She is vile. She's a piece of garbage. I'm going to add on to that. She's a ghetto, evil ass bitch. Okay, I'm sorry, but this is what the trial looked like most of the time. This was her, and we now got to go through it again. Al has to go through it again. His Gannon's mom has to go through it again. I don't have my documents here, but they have to go through it again. This was January 2020, guys. 11-year-old Gannon went missing. 11 years old, near Colorado Springs, Colorado. Now, weeks later, investigators concluded that he had been killed by his stepmother, Letecia, who was later convicted, and now it's been overturned by a biased juror. That's how. However, what led up to all of that was mostly
just please describe what we're talking about there.
Disrespect.
This is an actual live cartridge of Hornady ammunition. We'll see the. This will be the first.
She's doing this.
Please describe what we're talking about there.
Look at her.
This is an actual live cartridge of Hornady ammunition. We'll see the. This will be
good.
This will be the first. Just please describe what we're talking about there. This is an actual live cartridge of Hornady.
Look at that. I mean, you just see the evil behind her. Not only is she evil and disgusting, she's a liar and a monster, okay? I mean, literally, so many times in that trial, she did disrespectful things, like just outlandish. And now we've got to have another trial. And here's the thing, Robin, I'm glad you said that, because they literally were going for not guilty by reason of insanity. I want you to realize that. I want you to understand that she literally did a whole spiel. We have some messed up people that were her doctors and diagnosing her, and she is going to shoot for that again. So we got to be mindful of this new trial, guys, because if this is not done right, she can get not guilty or guilty by reason of insanity. If she gets into a mental facility, she'll get out at some point. Yeah, she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, wackadoodle, whatever you want to call it. She's crazy, but she tried to be insane. All right, so let's remove that. I'm going to put this up real quick just so you can see this nasty beast. That's what she looked like in court most of the time. Well, girl, the food didn't do her right in jail, and you'll see in a bit, or prison, I should say. All right, this evil beast. Look at those messages, guys. Before we even get into that, look at the messages that were presented in court. Are you kidding me? Right? I'm going to leave those up while I just quickly tell you about what the hell happened. All right. Okay, so this was 2020. 11-year-old Gannon was her stepson, and she took his life. Now, breaking down the reasons we will get to, but she got first-degree murder, and it's now been overturned because of a juror in question had a son-in-law who worked as a deputy district attorney in the 4th Judicial DA's office, which is the very same office that they were prosecuting Stauch. Or I think it's Stauch, right? I don't know if it's, I hear different ways. You guys tell me, is it Stauch or Stauch? Anyway, listen, under the Colorado law, a juror is required to automatically be removed if they're related within the 3rd degree to anyone that's elected in the DA's office. The appeals court ruled that the judge's failure to dismiss this juror was a structural error, simply, which automatically necessitates a new trial regardless of what evidence is presented. Okay. Now, the conviction was 2023, which resulted in 156 years, guys. She was sentenced to life without parole plus 156 years for the big M word of her stepson, Gannon Stauch. All right. The case will be sent back to the lower court in El Paso, and the DA's office will now have to decide whether to retry the case from the beginning or what. Now, despite the reversal, it is standard procedure for a defendant in the 1st degree case to remain in custody without bond pending a new trial, which is good because she's a flight risk. Okay. She's a flight risk. It's overturned. We're going to get into that with lawyer Lee and how. All right. Come on in, guys. Hit that like button. Get yourself some memberships, all that. You see this stuff going on in there? That's what they presented in court. She even did a fake lie detector. There's a company that's like fake lie detector tests, and she asked them to put on the lie detector test, did you kill Gannon? And they came back with, we can't answer these questions, or we can't fake these questions. That's not within the realm. Now, if you want to say, hey, did you cheat on your wife? Yeah, I can do that. But when it comes to you killing someone, we can't do a fake test on that. That's what she wanted, guys. Yeah, she looks like business. How long does it take to get DNA results? Cadaver dog. Do they look in ditches and under bridges? Now, mind you, they found Gannon thrown over and then under a bridge all the way near Florida. All right. They're in Colorado. She drove. So she's giving it away. Can I find a rich guy? Can they trace Snapchat? Colorado closed cases. Look at the shit I'm not even going to read all of them because I think you guys get the point. Robin, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker towards our goal. All right, let's get into this. I know you guys are ready. You're like, stop talking. Not really, but let's do this with lawyer Lee. How about that? Because I really want all of us to understand what happened, why it's reversed, and what's coming next. And then we're going to get into a lot more details.
Is one of the most notorious defendants of recent memory. Why would Letecia Stauch, of all people, get a new trial? But that is exactly why she's in the news tonight. Letecia Stauch was accused and convicted of a truly heinous crime. Prosecutors say she murdered her 11-year-old stepson and then pretended she had absolutely no idea where her stepson.
And by the time she breaks this down as to why, we'll be ready to rock and roll with all of the clips in the courthouse, them filing documents, etc. I know, it's Friday. I won't give you guys homework today, but we are in session right now. So thank you guys for being here. What's up? How you doing? Clar says, for the goal. Choo choo. You got it. Midnight Lace, how you doing? My friends, I love you guys. I cannot wait for Crime Con. It better be good. If she tried again, can they give her the death penalty? The death penalty is not on the table. Yes, no death penalty in Colorado. But we are going to get into the logistics and legalities of this before we get into anything else, because I really want not only for you to understand, but for me to completely comprehend what this means and why. All right. This is only about 10 minutes clip, and she does a great job. Lawyer Lee is great. She's not good at multitasking with live streams, but she's great when she does the films. All right, you're great, Lawyer Lee.
But today, the Colorado Court of Appeals has issued a ruling that she will get a new trial. Welcome to tonight's live stream. Hi, y'all, and let's get started. This is one of those rulings that, at first glance, feels almost impossible to understand. I mean, there was a trial, right? A jury found her guilty. A trial court sentenced her. Why would we start all over again? And believe it or not, it all comes down to one single juror. We'll cover three things in this video. First of all, who is Letecia Stauch? What is this new ruling? And then finally, what does it mean for the case? So let's dive in.
And this is perfect, guys, because you guys want to know. I know you want to know. I want to know. I really want to understand this. So the next time this happens, or so it doesn't happen, Robin says, I'm hooked on your channel. The info you give us is just awesome. Your passion for justice is just awesome. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. I actually had court this morning, something for work, a court case against one of the employees against our company. And I think I did really well. I was a witness in court today, and it lasted quite some time, but I think I did well, especially now that I've got this channel. I'm a lot more, everything's a lot more comprehensive for me to understand. All right. I've never heard anyone lie like Letecia Stauch. Have you heard the jail calls or any of that, guys? Because if you're interested, we can do that. Not today, but we can spread this out since the trial may be coming, go over the phone calls and different things that will blow your mind. Let me know. All right. Let me know if you guys want to do that at some point. I am totally open for that. Let me do this real quick. I just want you to hold on. I want you to see this and then we'll hop into it. Wait, this is not right. What happened there? Let's do it on this one. Hold on. And then I will bring you right back to Lawyer Lee. Right? We're going to get all of this out and more tonight. Happy Friday, everybody. Let's go.
She was found guilty of murdering Gannon. For more on what this all means, we're joined by investigative reporter Allison Zimmerman from the El Paso County Courthouse. Good afternoon, Allison.
Tony, good afternoon. I spoke with a Colorado Springs defense attorney, Jeremy Lowe, this morning. He told me this ruling is not surprising. Now, I want to walk you through some things that could happen now that the Court of Appeals has made this ruling. Lowe mentioned that the Supreme Court, the Colorado Supreme Court, could grant certiorari. That's essentially a review of the lower court's ruling. In this case, that would be the Court of Appeals, but they could also decline to not review.
Now, they could decline, but they'd have a huge problem, and she might actually get out on a technicality, which we don't want. Okay, now I have the 54 pages of documentation on why. I'm not going to do that today because it's Friday. But yes, the calls are awful. The interrogation, guys, the interrogation just blows my mind. I think we're going to have to go over that stuff next week in preparation of the trial because, guys, this case needs attention and Gannon needs justice. He didn't get justice.
That case. And also the El Paso County District Attorney's Office here could also decide not to send this up to the Supreme Court. Now, he also shared a few different perspectives with me about this ruling, but ultimately, as I mentioned, he's saying this is not surprising. I did ask him, though, what he thought. Okay. He is a well-experienced defense attorney here in Colorado Springs. When he learned about the judge's decision not to dismiss this juror during the trial, here's what he said.
Why? There were hundreds and hundreds.
And you see, this is why. So we're getting into the whys. We're going to get into what happened. We're going to get into what's next. But this is literally from the attorney about when they were picking the jurors, and he should have taken him off. He should have taken him off. That's a technicality. Now, technicalities have gotten people out, literally have gotten people out of prison or jail on a technicality, and they're guilty AF.
Of prospective jurors. Why not just excuse this one challenge for cause? There were countless challenges for cause.
Yes.
Why not excuse this juror and pick somebody else where there's no chance that it's going to come back on appeal for a juror bias issue.
She's evil and gross. Look at her. Ugh.
And I want to bring you up to speed here on just what this ruling was with the Court of Appeals. So essentially, they argued that there was a biased juror on this case because one of the jurors has a son-in-law that works for the DA's office. Now, this was something that the defense did bring up in the trial. The judge ultimately ruled not to dismiss that juror.
Tell me she's not evil, guys. Tell me I know you guys can't even say that she's not evil. This is why I wanted you to see this news clip. She's plotting and planning already. And guys, when you get sentenced to life without the possibility of parole plus 156 years, the only chance that you've got is to find a technicality and get another trial. Literally. And that's what happened here. Yeah, she does. She doesn't look evil. She is evil. She is disgusting. Oh, I hope so too. I hope so too, because you can't change evil.
But Jeremy Lowe argued that the law is pretty clear here in what it says. And one of the things it mentions is that if there is a third degree of relationship for a juror with an employee of a district attorney's office, then they should be dismissed. Now, we did hear from the El Paso County District Attorney's Office. They sent us a brief statement calling this opinion from the court disappointing. And they say Gannon's family and everyone who still loves him, this is also disappointing for them. And they're going to continue to pursuing justice in this case. Now, this means that the case will need to be retried. One of the things that Lowe and I talked about today is the cost that the community really bears in all of this. Is these trials, especially when you're talking about a murder case, these are not cheap cases to prosecute. And again, you're looking at all the attention that this case has gotten. We'll be following up to see just what the district attorney's office ends up doing. They did tell us that they are working with the attorney general's office to come up with a solution. Again, we're continuing to get more details on this developing story. We'll have much more coming up for you on News 5 at 5 and News 5 at 6.
This is crazy. I never in a million years would have guessed that we'd be looking at her again for another trial. That trial was absurd. Very stupid error. Very, very stupid. But now I'm going to tell you the actual reasons why with lawyer Lee. And then, oh my God, do you guys remember the freaking, funds? I don't even, you know what? Screw the funds. I didn't even think about that. Yes, the funds, whatever. But that family, we're going to get into it. That's why I put their family on the thumbnail, because I want you to see who she's hurting. Okay. Who she's doing this to. Screw the money. Money comes, money goes, you pay your taxes, whatever. But that family, the family was tortured by this for a long time. Before they found his Gannon's body, she was playing games with them. I want to hear the calls too. Oh my goodness, girl. All right, let's get back to lawyer Lee. I'm glad I have some fellow people here that want to see this and want me to present it. Do you think the judge will have a jurisdiction over a different jury pool? I don't know. We'll talk about that right now with lawyer Lee. That's a great question. All right, let's remove this and we're going to go to lawyer Lee, and we're all going to understand by the end of it exactly what happened and what's next.
On January 27, 2020, Letecia Stauch reported that her stepson Gannon was missing. She claimed he left home to walk to a friend's house and just didn't come home. Now, the wheels of law enforcement swung into motion. The FBI got involved. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children showed up. Both the Colorado Springs Police Department and El Paso Sheriff's Department worked to find Gannon. And it took a little over a month for law enforcement to...
Yeah, they couldn't find him. So this beast was going around doing interviews from behind. She'd go like this. She's like, I'll do an interview, but you can't see my face. She blamed her own daughter. She tried to put her own daughter right in harm's way. And yes, Rachel, yes, she could walk away from this. Yes, this again, she absolutely could walk away with this if they don't play their cards right. Yes, she did. Jay, did you see the video of Letecia being transported? Brother, Rocco just came in. Rocco's in the house. Should we play that again for Rocco? Because, yeah, right at the beginning, I showed her evil self with it was a Monster can, a big energy drink, and she attacked the guard. And then after she attacked the guard, she blamed her for doing that. All right. I believe she had a drug addiction and financial issues. They shared custody. Landon had Landon had drug issues at one point, but not in the way that Letecia claimed. That was a big fat lie. All right. And yes, we did. We just watched at the very beginning. I showed that Red Bull monster attack. All right, let's continue.
Slice through the misinformation. And on March 2nd of 2020, Letecia Stauch was arrested. Now, Letecia claimed she was not guilty by reason of insanity. The jury rejected that defense, found her guilty on all charges, and the judge told her her actions were the most horrific I've ever seen and sentenced her to life plus 156 years. Now, so far, I'm probably not making you feel like this is someone you want to see retried, but that is not the question that was before the Colorado Court of Appeals. The question was not whether Letecia was guilty, whether she deserved a new trial. It was whether the trial she got was fair under the Constitution and under Colorado law. And the court said it was not. Here's why. Let's begin with the actual ruling. It's strong. The Colorado Court of Appeals typically has some options. It could modify whatever the sentence is. It could change the sentence, in other words, or it could send the case back for a.
So listen, we're telling you right now so you don't have to completely worry. Now listen, I'm literally going with the worst case scenario here, that they go back to trial and something happens that is able to get a jury to say she's not guilty by reason of insanity. Rachel. So that's what lawyer Lee is telling us right now. We now know what the reason is. We know that there was a juror that shouldn't have been there. He should have got kicked out. But what is it that they're going to do with this? And the best person I know to tell us about this is lawyer Lee or the lawyer you know. All right. Those two. Oh my goodness. You won't not know what's happening. If you guys want me to show that attack again, the monster attack, let me know in chat. Just put a 2 in chat if you want me to show the attack again. If not, I'll show it later.
Very limited issue. That's not what happened here. What happened here is that the Court of Appeals reversed the conviction of Letecia Stauch. The case will now be remanded for a brand new trial, and Letecia will once again be presumed innocent. The fact that there is a new trial tells you that the Court of Appeals believed this was a very fundamental issue that went to the core of the trial. It was what's called a structural error. That means that once the court finds that error occurred, it is an automatic reversal. They don't have to ask the question, did it really make a difference? Did it affect the outcome? If it happened, they reverse, the person gets a new trial. So why did this happen? What was that structural error? Well, as I said, it all came down to one juror. It's important to realize what that means. This is not about whether Letecia was innocent. The court did not say there was a lack of evidence, that there was no rational ground for the jury to find her guilty. Instead, the question was whether this one juror was qualified to serve on the jury.
And they botched that up. All right, I see you guys. I'm gonna drop that real quick so you can see it. I have a version that I have a blurry version as well that they played in court that shows her a little bit more, but this one's so much clearer. So let me take this down and put that up. I will let you guys see that, bask in the glory of knowing that she's probably going to be convicted again and hopefully another 200 years. Here we go. This was her being extradited, and she was fudging with her handcuffs so she can get out, escape. Yep.
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Oh, she keeps threatening me.
Yeah, she made it really clear for us. It didn't look like that at all when they showed it in court. There's my big face again, y'all. In court, let me just show you real quick. I got it right on the spot where they play the screen. There she is being transported because they're using that as evidence.
Was 24 hours long or more than that. And you can see Stauch has an energy drink in her hand, which was full of
Watch.
drive. happened when Stauch was being extradited from South Carolina to Colorado. Again, she was arrested in South Carolina back in March of 2020. The drive was 24 hours long or more than that. And you can see Stauch has an energy drink in her hand, which was full, according to testimony. In the video, Stauch is seen hitting the deputy in her face with that full can. Lead detective on the case, Jessica Bethel, was in front of Stauch when this happened. She says Stauch slipped her hands out of her handcuffs in order to do this. Detective Bethel also says she too was hurt by Stauch after that first assault on the deputy.
Were you actually injured during that interaction?
Later on, yes.
Okay. What happened to you as a result of that?
We placed her in a mechanical advantage control hold or a mock hold, myself and another deputy, to escort her to a patrol car. And when we did, she dropped all of her weight, and I was carrying her, escorting her with my left arm. She dropped all of her weight, which caused me to have a shoulder injury, which needed surgical repair.
Damn, dude.
Today, prosecutors brought in a 9mm handgun, which you can see here, found in the Stauch home in the Mass.
Now, I want you to realize that is the murder weapon, okay? She used a 9mm after stabbing her stepson 18 times. 18 times. You think you got enough? 18 times? Are you kidding me? Let's just get a 9mm just to make sure the job is done right. Huh? How about that? Thank you so much, Bree, for the $5 towards our goal. Hello, Jay, Mods, and Crime Crew. Welcome, everybody. I love you guys in chat over there chatting away. What's up, Kel? Good to see you. Everybody, yeah, she's pure hate, Mom. She's evil AF. All right, let's listen up what's going to happen next.
The court said no, and it was an emphatic no. The court should never have let this juror sit on the jury in the first place. Now, here's what happened. During jury selection, the lawyers get to ask the jurors questions to make sure they can serve on the jury and be fair. So during the selection process, as the jurors were answering questions, one potential juror said that his son-in-law worked in the same district attorney's office that was prosecuting the case against Letecia. So in other words, he was related by his daughter's marriage to someone who worked in the office that was prosecuting the case. Now, to make it easier for courts to make this decision, the Colorado legislature has enacted a law that says if a juror is related, quote, within the third degree to either the defendant, that would be Letecia, or any attorney of record in the case, then that juror is out.
Yeah, we're going to get into the actual case and what she did to him. But yeah, Janika J, you say 9mm was a gift from Al. It was so that she would be able to protect the family when he was gone. Very calculated. A 9mm is definitely after, especially for an 11-year-old boy. 11 years old, Gannon was stabbed 18 times and shot once, not 3 times. But we're going to get into all that detail. I just want you to understand why she's getting another trial and what could happen next. And then we'll get into all of that. I'm going to give you a refresher course in the best way possible. Jay, where can I post about a case that needs to be spread? You can either email me at my regular email, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com, or you can send me cases, or you can send Tiff, whatever you want to do. My email is the other one below, not send me cases, because that takes me a while to get to, but that one. All right, let's continue.
So the language actually says that any, quote, relationship within the third degree by blood, adoption, or marriage, close quote, is covered. And the juror was related to an attorney in the office within the third degree by marriage. So the lawyers don't have to prove that the juror is biased. The person is considered impliedly biased. They can't serve. And the defense recognized this right away. They challenged the juror for cause, which is exactly what is supposed to happen in the course of this. But the problem is that the trial court did not remove the juror. And that's it. It all comes down to that one juror. And the appellate court said because that one juror stayed on the panel and participated in deliberations, it had to reverse. The jury was not constitutionally valid. It was a structural problem, and it means Letecia gets.
It's crazy that it's been 3 years, but that's what they do. It's their job to go, not her. It's the lawyers, the appellate court. Some people just do that all day. They work on cases to find a way and an angle to appeal. All right. And they did just that. This evil person has been in prison plotting ever since. That's why I really, really hope that you guys are wanting to know more about this case and be refreshed, because I really want to go over a lot of the things with you, the interrogations, the phone calls. I'd love to do all of that.
A new trial. Now, the court does not go behind this and say, well, the evidence was overwhelming. Any juror would have felt the same way. Even a juror who wasn't impliedly biased would have concluded this woman was guilty. So since a juror fit in this category in the law, the convictions are returned. Letecia gets to start over with a new. The prosecution tried to argue that the defense should have used one of its peremptory challenges on the juror. Now, each side gets a chance to use a peremptory challenge, which just means to strike a few jurors that they don't like. The prosecution says, look, if the juror was that bad, the defense shouldn't have left them on the jury. It had strikes. It could have just removed the juror. It had the option to do that. And the appellate court said, yeah, that's not how it works. The legislature has picked out certain people who cannot serve on the jury. It's up to the judge to make sure that happens. The party doesn't have to use up one of the party's strikes, because you only get a few, to get those people off the jury. And as an attorney, I can say you hoard those strikes like gold. It seems like you never have enough, and you're always trying to figure out how best to use these. So there was a dissenting opinion in the case. That means a judge said, I don't agree with the rest of you. I may be in the minority, but I don't agree with you. And
I feel like he should be held accountable for that. And thank you, Nisi Lynn. 88 likes and 128 people. Come on, hit that like button. It's free, my friends. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. All right. Letecia had a somewhat known psychiatrist. She certainly did. We're going to get on that. But listen, that lady that was a well-known psychiatrist back then that was on HBO, she is so not credible, Rocco. And because of her age, in my opinion, she botched the shit out of this. I think she's like Dr. Bodden, Rocco. I think she's like Dr. Bodden, where she's timed out. Her glory days were on the HBO episode that they did. And that's it. That's all. There's nobody else that has been ruled with or given that title by which that psychiatrist was trying to do so. That just didn't happen. She was just out of it. Yeah, the judge should be fine too. This could get, no, I don't think it can get worse for her, other than her having to go out back and forth to a court every day. SoCal, will you be on again later? I'll be on again now for a while, not later. I come on back on Monday. All right. She was still with, yes, she was with it. She was fully, I'm going to go over this. Let's finish this and I'll go over all of that, guys. I know we needed a refresher. I just wanted the people that didn't need a refresher to hear why we're even covering this case again.
The judge said the defense should have used the strike. And if it didn't, the defense had waived the right to argue this on appeal. So let's get to what comes next. Letecia Stauch will get a new trial, but the court is not ruling that she's going to walk free. She will get another trial, and her attorneys probably will ask the court to let her out on bond, but it's very unlikely that will be granted. The appellate court is also not saying that there wasn't enough evidence in the case, that it was insufficient.
See, so now you guys are going to know, and you walk away from this and people are talking all weekend about Letecia Stauch and why. You'll know why. You'll understand what happened and what happened sometimes and what's the worst case. There's plenty of evidence, but you just don't know if the jury is going to go back and look at that, the psychiatrist, and believe her.
Sufficient, that the jury was wrong. Nothing like that is being said here. In fact, the court addressed other issues in the case, such as the search for the defendant's cell phone, and said there was no error in that. The ruling is entirely about who sat on the jury, not about anything related to the facts of the case itself. Every defendant, and this applies regardless of what the charges against them are, is entitled to a jury that is completely impartial. And when that standard isn't met, the system doesn't try to just patch the problem. You start over. And that is exactly what's happening here. Now, legally, the case will return to the trial court as if the original trial had not occurred, which means the prosecution has to decide, will it retry the case? In a case of this magnitude, it would be extremely unusual not to proceed with a new trial. But
that's crazy. See, I mean, you guys get the idea. They're going to be talking about this for the next week or so. And it's so good. I mean, I want to understand it as much as you do. When people say, oh, she probably won't get tried again. Lawyer Lee's a lawyer and she's very credible. And if she says she thinks that case of this magnitude is probably going to get another trial? Well, unless the judge or the district attorney can, or the prosecutor, anybody can pull some strings. It just is what it is, guys. If you don't cross your T's and dot your I's, that's what happens. All right. Since as I have Kevin's cousin checking our leaking roof, it was leaking on my shoe. Elizabeth's disability human just called, and Max is losing his biscuit. Well, go handle that or take a quick break. You know, the roof thing. I got the roof leaking thing down. If you have any questions, happy Friday, Ray. Good to see you. I know it's all crazy. All crazy. All right, let's continue. But seriously,
it is truly starting over. A jury has to be picked all over again. The evidence has to be presented again. The witnesses have to testify again. So it changes things dramatically because both sides have already gone through the trial process once. They know what the witnesses are going to say. That will shape how they strategize, what their plan is for the next trial. It will shape how they cross-examine witnesses, maybe even which witnesses they choose to call. Maybe it will be a different set this time than last time. But for the most part, the facts will remain the same. The court's rulings will almost certainly be pretty close to what they were last time.
I love it. But if someone doesn't pay close attention, you never know what could happen. So thank you, Lawyer Lee. Now I'm going to bring you up to where Gannon's body was found. When Gannon's body was found, they knew they had an arrest and they were good to go. I'm going to show you a few clips and then we're going to get into the timeline of it and everything that's happened.
11-year-old El Paso County boy, allegedly murdered by his stepmother, was killed with multiple weapons. A pretrial hearing today revealed those difficult details as we continue covering the search for justice for Gannon Stauch.
The Lorson Ranch fifth grader disappeared last January. KRDO News Channel 13, Sydney Stell.
Listen, guys, I have a fifth grader that's also 11. I can't even imagine. Now, he would be a teenager by now, but that's the age right now that we're stuck in with my child. It's unbelievable. And I can't even fathom remarrying somebody and them harming my child. Right? I just can't. I can't. What's up, Lady for Justice? How you doing, my friend? Jay, be right back. Gotta eat my soup. Eat your soup, Ray. Eat your soup. I can't even imagine. Okay? That's all I can say about that. I would probably rip her head off. And I'm sure Al wanted to. They had a tough time, not only in court, but when she toyed with him the whole trial, before the trial.
Joins us live outside the courtroom with everything she learned in that courthouse today.
His body's found.
Well, I do want to warn you that a lot of these details I'm about to share with you are pretty hard to hear, but today we learned that Gannon was shot, stabbed, and had his skull fractured before he was found under a bridge in Florida weeks after he vanished. Before today, it was a mystery how his body got from Colorado all the way to Florida, but today we learned that through car data, cell phone tracking, credit card receipts, and surveillance footage, police are pretty confident that Letecia rented a cargo van less than a week after Gannon was reported missing and drove down to Florida. She wasn't.
Now, listen, I want you guys to realize that she took her family to Florida and drove with the body. All right. That's what I want you to understand. Juicy Jules, me here in Colorado Springs, saw Letecia at the course. Wow. You get a picture of her evil ass. Was she levitating with the red around her? Because she's an evil, evil person. All right, let's continue. This is awful what she did to him, and then where she put his body is just it's the Lord's work. That's all I can say. By the grace of God, that little guy was found. And guys, you don't want to see the pictures. I've seen the pictures of the guy that found Gannon. There's a guy that found Gannon under the bridge. He opened it, and Gannon was like this in the fetal position. And he was all soggy from the water and the terrain. It's not good. You don't want to see those pictures. Now, did I see the autopsy pictures? I did. And you know that other people were putting those out there at the time. I think was it Queen Bee, or where's Holly at? Where's Holly been? Was it Queen Bee or Natasha Cooper and Zav Girl? Two creators put those out. I wasn't a creator yet, but I did see the autopsy photos, and I did see Gannon stuffed inside of a suitcase with a pillow inside and all the blankets and what she had done to him. You don't want to see that. Well, it was Zev Girl, but there was another one too. It was either Natasha Cooper or Queen Bee. All right, there were two that got called out. Now, don't think there weren't more than two. Al Goofy already had a woman and Wild Chick. He quit. Yeah, he cheated on Landon with, but they were having problems. They're okay now. They co-parented. Landon, she had a drug problem at one point, but Letecia made it bigger than it was.
Alone either. She went with her 17-year-old daughter. The two stayed roughly 3 miles from where
Thank
Gannon's
you.
body would be found weeks later in a suitcase dumped over the side of a bridge. His level of decomposition pointed to the fact that he had likely been in that suitcase for at least a month. Letecia's daughter is not facing any charges right now, and an FBI agent testified today that there is no evidence she was involved in his actual murder, although it's unclear if she had any role after Gannon died. She was at work when investigators believe Letecia violently murdered her stepson Gannon.
I'm not.
Today's hearing was a chance for the prosecution to prove to a judge that there is enough evidence to move to trial and to potentially grant bond to Letecia, though given her past escape attempts, it would be highly unusual for a judge to grant Letecia bond. Now, we will find out what Judge Werner will ultimately decide on September 23rd. That hearing is scheduled for 9 a.m. right here at the El Paso County Courthouse. For now, live at the El Paso County Courthouse, I'm Sydney Stauch.
Now, as I was going through this, I found I'm not going to play it or anything, but I found the Brian Enton. Brian Enton literally reported on it as a news thing about Zav Girl and Queen Bee, but mostly Zav Girl took the heat for it. So yeah, she put it out there. She bought it. She went, Zav Girl buys her documents, and that's why she's even Zav Girl, because she picked up the Chris Watts case and she got all like exclusive footage. Well, she bought those images from Colorado or wherever she put the FOIA, and the autopsy photos came in the document, which shouldn't have, because he's a minor. But then she put it out. Yes, I will. I want to go over all of it. Now, I'm not going over the phone calls today because I need everyone to know what we're talking about. But Karen and everybody, I'm asking you if you guys want me to cover those things as we lead up to trial. Yes, she was selling them behind a paywall. All right, let's continue. This is her sentence. I just want you to see so we can get up to speed.
The jury finds Letecia Stauch here guilty of murdering her 11-year-old stepson.
Fox 31's Nicole Fierro is on it live from the courthouse with the reaction. Nicole.
Yeah, we just walked out minutes ago. 3 years later, the family burst into tears hearing the verdict, guilty on all charges. Now, a half hour after hearing that verdict, the judge went into sentencing. Now, Letecia Stauch, she's going to spend the rest of her life in prison without the possibility of parole.
We, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 1, murder in the first degree after deliberation. We, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 2, murder in the first degree, child under 12, position of trust. We, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 3, tampering with a deceased human body. We, the jury, find the defendant Letecia Stauch guilty of count number 4, tampering with physical evidence.
Very emotional reaction.
Very, very emotional, guys. As a matter of fact, I was going to get into that and show you the sentencing, the 21-minute sentencing, but I don't want to do that before I give you guys the story of what happened to Gannon and why it's so important that we pay attention to this and hope that she doesn't get a new trial where she's able to say not guilty by reason of insanity. Because the longer that you take for a case like that or to redo it, you start losing people and witnesses and support. All right. Yes. Keep her as in prison. They pretty much knew Letecia did it from the beginning. I can't imagine they have to do it. That's the thing, that the family is heartbreaking. And we're getting into that right after this clip.
Action in the courtroom after the verdict was read. Before the judge announced the sentence, he heard from Gannon's loved ones. Take a listen to Gannon's biological mom, Landon.
For 3 years, I have tried to forgive you, but I can't. I want to. But no parent should have to bury their child.
Now, that's why I'm playing this clip, because the full clip was like 21 minutes, and I really want you to see how evil she is as she got sentenced. And the impact statements, she doesn't give two shits about any of this. Yes, we need not only justice for Gannon, but for his family. It's heartbreaking. Look at, she just is evil. She's sitting there. They embraced her. Landon trusted her. Al trusted her way too much. And that's what she did to their son. All right, let's continue.
None parent should have to see or hear the horrific things she has done to the whole family. She has taken away the most precious gift in this world. Not just my family, not Al's family, but your own family. She destroyed dozens of lives of people who never wanted to believe that she could have done this.
A lot of tears, a lot of pain, emotion felt through that courtroom this afternoon as Gannon's mother and father addressed the judge, addressed their murdered son Gannon, and addressed Letecia Stauch herself, the woman now charged with murdering Gannon. Al emotionally described the dreams he wishes Letecia experiences every night in prison. He said he hopes she relives the final moments of Gannon's final words and his last breath. He wishes that Letecia would also tell him what Gannon's last words were. She did not address the court, even though she did have the opportunity to. This all leading up to the judge's maximum sentence for Letecia. Now, we just walked out of here, talked to the DA. Within the next hour, there's going to be a press conference. Family members will.
All right, the family members have to go through this all over again. And she never gave a motive because she just lied the entire time. I want to show you guys something, though, because this is one of those things that for a very long time we're going to talk about. This is what we talk about when we hold on. When we talk about fraudulent parents that took the life of their children and that they won't show their face, Jack and Lily, how many other people, Sebastian Rogers and his, Chris and Katie. Guys, we always use this as a prime example. This was before she got arrested. This was 6 years ago. This was after the disappearance of Gannon. She's literally talking to people about her stepson, but she doesn't want to show her face. All right. And did anyone see this? This is what we always refer to on Deception Detectives and every other one. So I don't know if you guys want to watch it just for a minute and listen to her. And then we're going to hop into timeline and details.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What?
Again, she was the last person to see him alive. Katie, Jack and Lily, right? Tommaso and Annie, last person, see him alive. Okay.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations.
Oh yeah, we should listen to this because it's all about me. And thank you, Janika J, because this is literally going to be one of those cases that you always reference in time when there's a parent that did something to a child, lies, people talk about it, but you never really know until the body's found. All right. This was one of those cases. She was still free and she was claiming me. You missed the overturn. They overturned it because of the juror. The judge was supposed to get rid of one of the jurors that was related. It was a family member of one of the people in court. The juror had a son-in-law who worked in the deputy district, and not only just the district, the 4th judicial district. You cannot be working with the same prosecution office that is related to a juror. So under the Colorado law, a juror is required to be automatically removed if they're related within the 3rd degree. All right. Now, the judge knew that he passed on it, and he went ahead and rolled with the jury anyway. All right. All right. Let's continue. Wait, well, I see your comment. Does somebody think they're timed out? Who thinks they're timed out? Yeah, she's a psychopath. This is a classic case that I'm always going to refer to because she's guilty. She's in prison right now, over 156 years, and this is her declaring it wasn't her.
Like the things that have been said, that I've disappeared from the community, I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some death threats already.
Who else talks about death threats? They're just to yourselves.
Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't complying. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were.
Now, listen, guys, if this were a case that was current and we were trying to lock somebody up, I'd say, guys, listen to what she's saying and what she's not saying. What she's saying is me. I need to get out of this. People are being mean to me. She's supposed to go on there and plead for that kidnapper that she talked about to bring Gannon home. But instead, this is what she's talking about. All right. I want you to understand that this is that interview where she was supposed to plead to that Eduardo guy or the other guy, all these different guys that kidnapped him, etc. All right. Just understand that.
Blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
That's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives. And so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the questions.
That's because you murdered their son. No wonder. I mean, I don't want to be in the room with you if I took the life of your son and been lying to you. Shit, I wouldn't even be able to sleep at night. I would have to sleep with one eye open, guys, because you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have to choke that lady right there. And they were better people than that. And they have to go through this again. This is ridiculous.
Vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things.
I don't want to expose my family to it, but she brings her daughter on to talk about it and be her alibi. Michelle Allender, thank you so much for thank you for getting a guilty of crime membership. I looked at it like it was gifted. Thank you. She sat in an interrogation room and downed a Hot Pocket and a Coke. She doesn't have any feelings. I added to that. Yes, Carmen. Yes, that's all she wants is attention. And I do think that she staged things to happen to her family and to happen to Gannon so that Al would come home. She brings her daughter into this interview to be her alibi. Then she does that in court again. She blames her daughter at court. You know how when you try to get a reasonable doubt? Yeah, she put that reasonable doubt on her daughter, guys. All right.
Were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there.
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officer?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was putting the handcuffs in the store, and then
You think this news station guy believes her, number one? And number two, what the hell is this? What kind of, literally, if I went to hey, we're investigating this case and I had that, what is this? And it was a bad juror that the judge saw that the juror, who he was or she and who they were connected to, and he decided to proceed anyway. Right?
Brought out with men with guns, and that's just not okay. They could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your chat. Doing great.
He said you're doing great.
Still can hear you okay? Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while, my mic will give out, and I want to make sure it's not going to happen here.
This is a classic interview, guys. That's why I'm playing it. I want you to remember this. So for all the other cases where we see parents that we don't believe, we could just refer back to this one.
Okay. I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like,
and you hear how she glosses over how Gannon's dead? Now, I want you to realize not only is it all about her, but she uses Gannon in past tense all the time. Not on purpose, but she uses him all the time. And you could see the guy's face. She's just lying. Thank you so much, Janika J, for the $3 super sticker towards our goal. Besides that, she's telling different stories than what she told the detectives. Get your hand out. I'm going to get my ruler and smack your hand. You can't be late. All right. Andrea says, I was called in for jury duty in January, Canada. I wrote them and told them I'm biased. I was married to a policeman and I'm taking law classes. They released me immediately. Hey, that's one way to get out of it. Just kidding.
Why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has.
Yes,
just because you haven't seen us, we had that same goal. We've been out searching.
No, we didn't know he was dead, but he was missing at this time. And she was explaining how he got kidnapped and they don't care about her and they're blaming her. Yeah, he was dead at this time. Absolutely. The world didn't know that because we hadn't found his body, but we knew. When a kid that age goes missing, 11-year-old boy goes missing, 24 hours, 48 hours, 120 hours. Guys, statistically, they're not alive anymore. Once in a while, that can happen. Now, you say the state can offer her a plea to avoid expense and time on another trial, but I doubt she would take it. You're correct, Rocco. She is like the opposite. She's the antichrist of everything that she should do. She does the opposite.
Aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the
See, she's using him in the past tense. Now she just messed up. Again, he was already dead. She had already by now taken his body and dumped it under a bridge. Now, guys, I want you to realize he was in the suitcase that whole time when law enforcement went to the house because she claimed that she got raped by some man that took Gannon. They were there. They were in that garage next to the boxes. I saw the body cam with the boxes, and the freaking suitcase was right there with Gannon's body in it. After that happened, she got scared and rented a car and transported him with her family. They were going to a softball tournament in Florida, and she got that car and she transported his body. And the day she committed the crime, she also did that because she needed to pick Al up, her husband, Gannon's dad, and she didn't use her car. She gave him some weird story about why she couldn't use her car. And he's like, I find that odd. Again, let's continue.
Dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this, but is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Now, we can agree to disagree here as well, but she sent a picture to Al and told Al that Gannon wasn't feeling well, and so she put the covers up over his head. It's speculative that he was already dead at that time. Okay, so I want you to remember that. If you remember, you remember. If you don't, you don't. We'll get to it at some point. All right. The motive was she's absolutely psychotic. She did not, in my opinion, like that little boy. She was tired of taking care of Al's kids because not only did her kid was already grown up, but Al had Gannon and his other little sister that I showed you on the thumbnail. And she was frankly tired of taking care of the kids, in my opinion. And yeah, Freaky Friday is good. What's up, CB? All right, let's continue so we can get down to it. Her own daughter. She also blames her in court as well.
If she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to ask.
What an awful.
Okay so far?
Yes. I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
He's probably texting this bitch guilty.
Yes. No, just answer the question. Yes, you came off of work and you couldn't verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still, you know, a child. But I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes. So I came home later that evening. I was at work. And I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
This is ridiculous. Her poor daughter. She is not out of jail. And she will not be out of jail. Now, her conviction, April, thank you for coming in here, by the way, and trusting what we say in this community. Welcome. No, she's not going to get out of jail at all. The case is overturned, but we don't even know if they're going to have a new trial yet. It's going to depend on the judge, I guess, the prosecutor, the DA, whoever's overseeing it. It went to appellate court, and in appellate court, they found that there was a mistake. So she's not getting out, though. She's a flight risk, and she's tried to escape before. So no. Pisces gal. I bet she did this to torture the family more. I do think she relished in this, Pisces gal. I think she loved that attention she was getting, and they saw her on the news, and she was, yeah, I agree. Thank you so much towards our goal.
Garden of Gods.
Okay. I guess when.
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Then we ate Burger King afterwards.
I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house, and then it was just I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. we had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that. And that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with
Yeah.
legal stuff. Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide of what feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion?
I hope am I
a witch hunt, because that's a witch right in front of you. I'm sure he was texting his boss or whoever. Great, we got a great story. We're going to get some numbers on this one. This bitch is using his name in past tense. She won't show her face. She's lying right in front of the camera with the daughter saying, you can cut this out. No, bitch, nothing is getting cut out. You're on the you got the spotlight, lady. Let's go.
You are
okay.
still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative. But to me, it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher. And they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract. So I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, or any of those things. And it just got blown out of proportion on my professional.
Guys, she's actually a ghetto grifter in real life. Like, you could take a girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. This bitch is hood all the way. In my opinion, she tricked Al. Now, I gotta say, Al and family, I'm here for Gannon Stauch. I'm here for the case. But brother, you should have not cheated with your woman with this girl, and then you should not have married her. And again, I'm never gonna victim blame. It just breaks my heart that freaking Al thought that he had a good woman to help him, because Al had to go. He's in some sort of military, and he had to be gone for times where she had the children. She may be getting a retrial, but there's too much evidence against her. Bitch will get the guilty verdict. I hope so. I like how she called herself Dr. Stauch, and then she had a doctor. Girl, April. Oh my God. I don't even know what to say about that. While I have you guys, do me a favor. We have 147 people. Hit that like button, subscribe, get the notification bell. I'm going to gift the membership if anyone wants to match me. All right.
Status, and
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
it definitely is. And here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we just should not. We should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Wait until the end and see what happens. That's what we're about to do right now. Oh, I want to.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband. We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you.
What the hell is this? It looks like a freaking dirty mop is moving around. What is that? Her hair's greasy. It's getting all dreaded. Like I said, you can take the girl out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the girl. This girl is ghetto. When they started doing pre-trial hearings and things, so many things came out about her past and how she lived. And if you listen to her now and you listen to her in the jail calls, she doesn't sound like this at all. She's got this kind of like, you know what I mean? And I like a ninja. What's up, my ninja? That's how she talks and that's how she acts, right? It's a freaking Timu wig talking to us. What's happening? A grease mop just called her that she's a victim.
Oh. We hope that you come home soon. Again, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
A crying mop, you guys. Wow. That was beautiful. All right, now we're going to get into the timeline and everything else that you never knew or what you need to know now. Thank you guys for being here. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are enjoying the presentation of this because this is a big case, guys. This is a huge case and it took hours and hours and hours of everyone's time. I was hanging on every word. So yeah, crying slop. The chupacabra. All right, now we're getting into the what happened and all the details of it that led us up to this. Her timeline is shit, guys. You just gotta see it to believe it. I can't even tell you.
Do they check in ditches under bridges?
A crime analyst takes the stand in the Letecia Stauch trial and breaks down the intricate timeline of events before and after the death of a.
And that's why we're doing this, so we can understand the gravity of it without having to watch the entire thing, because the entire thing would take like 2 weeks or more to present. Thank you, Andrea. I do appreciate that. Oh my God. Yes. The girl from The Ring. Yes. I love you guys. It's so funny. Switching to TV. Thanks for doing this. You're very welcome, Casey. And do your thing. Go relax, grab a drink, get a snack, grab a blanket, chill out. If you fall asleep, well, you can go be on the rewatch crew. Thank you. All right, let's continue.
11-year-old Gannon Stauch. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. The Letecia Stauch trial has been going on for about a month now out of Colorado, and there is still important evidence and testimony being presented in court. Now, remember, this is the 39-year-old mother who killed her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, back in January of 2020. Now, you might notice I didn't say allegedly killed because Letecia Stauch already admitted that she killed Gannon, stabbed him, shot him.
And that's what those are the things I want to go over, because Rocco, that psychiatrist, the loony bin psychiatrist that you're talking about, that loony bin psychiatrist could have gotten her a not guilty by reason of insanity. I want you to understand that. And they taped that. She was talking to loony bin psychiatrist lady, and she confessed. She confessed. She pretended like she was in a stance. Or a trance. She pretended like she was in a trance, and she told her what she did about hitting him, the skull fracture, the stabbing, and the gun. Fire, fire, liar, liar, pants of fire. All right, let's continue.
But she is pleading not guilty by reason of insanity. Her defense highlighted that she has dissociative identity disorder. Basically, the defense is arguing that she wasn't aware of her actions at the time. She didn't appreciate or know what she did was wrong when she killed Gannon. It's a very high burden. But what we know is that prosecutors say Letecia Stauch attacked and killed Gannon in his bedroom on January 27th, 2020 in El Paso County, Colorado, where they resided.
I'm telling you, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me know. I'll try to find it. The picture that Letecia, I call her Letecia, but Letecia Stauch sent to Al, that allegedly he was already deceased. She just covered him up, but you could see like everything was drained out of him. He looked white as a ghost, and she only let him see a little piece. I'm pretty sure he was dead when she sent that. Oh God. And that's it. Yeah, Rocco, she ruined that. Gannon Stauch is their superhero, all of our superhero, and she ruined that by saying she thought that a man came in with a cape, and so she shot him. So she was trying to take away that superhero Gannon. Oh my goodness, I just can't with her.
Investigators found Gannon's blood on his mattress and walls of his bedroom, as well as on Stauch's shoe and possibly in her car. They also say her DNA was on a gun connected to the crime, and they were able to track her car to the area where a plywood board was found with Gannon's blood on it.
Yes, cool.
And then, of course, there is her behavior and statements. So Letecia Stauch was acting very suspicious when Gannon was first reported missing. She told several different stories about what happened to her stepson. She originally claimed that Gannon was at a friend's house and never returned home, even though she couldn't provide the name of that friend. Another story was that a man named Eduardo raped her and kidnapped Gannon. And she also claimed to Gannon's father that a man named Quincy Brown took Gannon. Well, what happens? The month after Gannon disappears, Letecia Stauch rents a budget rental van and proceeds to drive her and her daughter all the way down to Florida. 6 weeks after that trip, Gannon Stauch's body is found in a suitcase underneath a bridge in northwestern Florida. So the allegation was that Gannon's remains were in that van. So that's what we know so far. But how does this all fit together? Well, earlier this week, former crime analyst Kevin Clark took the stand and went into extensive detail of the timeline of Letecia Stauch's activities or alleged activities.
All right, this is going to be for all of you that don't know about this. We're going to get through this. And I'm also looking for a preview of jail calls so you guys can tell me if you want me to cover this more. All right, so you guys can see interrogations, jail calls, calls between Al and Letecia. All of that is going to be used again. Just Me says this was a hard trial, watching, hearing what she done to him. Also, the phone calls between her and Gannon's father. Amen, Just Me. Amen. I watched those things so many times. Now, I wasn't even I did not present true crime at the time this happened. I was just a fellow true crime person, right? Just a true crime junkie like all of y'all. All right, let's continue.
Give you an example. We're going to start with one time period in particular from 2:29 p.m. on January 27th. This is the day the prosecutors say she killed Gannon, to 6:19 a.m. on January 28th. Clark testified about how Letecia Stauch wasn't using her phone all that much, considering that she usually would frequently use her phone.
Before I get into a specific item, was the defendant a fairly prolific user of her cell phone?
Yes, lots of activity.
All times of the day, essentially?
And sometimes at night, yes.
Was there a period of time when there was an abnormal lack of use of her cell phone?
There was.
What time and date was that?
This was Monday the 27th, late morning into early afternoon. It was about a 4-hour period of no activity.
So does that coincide with the time frame of when the defendant and Gannon left the residence roughly 10 in the morning to go to Petco and were gone, and then they returned at about 2:20?
That does encompass that time, yes.
Is there a period of time when they're back at home after returning from Petco, that Petco run, where there's still a lack of cell phone activity on the defendant's phone?
There is.
Did that appear to be unusual based on her prior usage?
It did.
And then on the night.
All right, you guys, if you want me, it's Friday, and you know how we do on Friday, right? We're chill. It's just it's a whole mood on Friday. Now, listen, if you guys want to hit the like button if you want to continue, and then drop a 1 in chat if you want. I've got a new jail call that came out 3 weeks ago, and it's Letecia Stauch, her call after murdering her 11-year-old stepson. I just want to kind of give you a preview. It's a post-conviction prison call, but I assure you, if you guys are interested, I will dig up the prison calls and continue to play them. So when we're done with this, we're going to listen to a 10-minute call so you can see, and you'll also see how she progresses over time. There's even video jail calls of her, guys. I want you to understand that. There are freaking video jail calls. You know, the ones that they do now? My goodness. Joanne says, I'm glad you have a channel now because you're good at it. Well, thank you. And 11111, say a prayer. All these ones in the house, say a prayer. Yeah, okay, let's continue.
Of January 28th, just after 7 p.m., Stauch's phone was placed on airplane mode and remained off network at 9 p.m. when, as I mentioned, they're able to track her car to the area where they found that bloodied board. And speaking about tracking and movements, Clark testifies that surveillance video from a neighbor shows Stauch and Gannon returning home at around 2 p.m. on January 27th, again, the day they believe that Letecia killed Gannon. And then fast forward to 6:30 a.m. the next morning, Stauch is leaving for about 10 minutes and then comes back. Now, we don't know exactly what she was doing. But by the way, this is after Gannon was reported missing. It's also important to note that on the day Gannon vanished, Stauch is shown on tape backing cars into the driveway. Why is that important?
Chris Watts status, right? Chris Watts came in, backed in, and took the bodies. Cleveland says, I made it. Cool, because I wanted to tell you that. Las Vegas, I wanted to go, but they only have $3.99. I am too poor. I know they only have $3.99, but you could still go, my friend. We can still hang out. We're going to do a party. We're going to do a party on Friday or that week on the 30th. You don't need money to get into the party. Anyway, let me know. We'll put it out there. Robin, thank you so much. I'm always happy when some new crime crew person comes that just found my channel and they become a member. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, let's continue.
Well, because Clark said after reviewing previous videos, that is not something Ms. Stauch typically does. Okay, and like many other murder investigations, there's the phone data, right? I talked about the inactivity, but there's so much more here. So Kevin Clark dives into what is found in Letecia Stauch's text messages. Clark starts with text messages between Letecia and Gannon's father, Al Stauch, on the day before Gannon's death. The night before Gannon went missing, Letecia texts Al that Gannon isn't feeling well.
The next entry, and it looks like the last entry that you have on the timeline for Sunday night or Sunday, January 26th, is at 11:30 p.m. What is that?
So it takes Harley approximately 20 minutes to get home. Harley's now home when this message from the defendant goes to Mr. Stauch. It's 11:30 p.m. Sunday night, and it reads, Gannon was on the toilet most of the night upstairs and downstairs. He had a candle on earlier tonight because he said he kept smelling poop from his accidents in his pants. That's what he told us afterwards.
See, she's making stuff up and causing problems just to get Al to come home and to get attention. I'm telling you right now, you can't take the hood out of the girl. And I'm telling you, she fooled him. I think she fooled everyone with who she was. And once everything's settled, she became who she is. All right, how can you become a member? What's up, Jacqueline Cruz? How you doing, my friend? You can become a member by, there's a link that you click on that says join. Maybe one of the mods wants to drop that in the chat. What happened to Francis Queso case? All right, so that would be awesome if you do. Mods, can you drop a link for Jacqueline to become a member? Thank you. Francis Queso, I don't know right now. I'll look it up.
And he went for his headphones and dropped it, catching the covers and couch, small spot, on fire. I got Lena and dogs outside when we heard fire alarm. But once I got down there to get him, I had to throw another cover on it. It was minimal. No need to call for help or anything because nothing too bad. He is upset and wrote on the notebook he was sorry. He didn't want me to tell you because he was scared and freaking out about getting in trouble and being grounded. It's stuff we can fix and everyone is okay. I burnt my arm a little, but it's all good. He was more scared and embarrassed.
So it appeared that Gannon wasn't feeling well and most likely wasn't going to go to school the next day. And according to what we just heard, apparently there was also an accident that night where Gannon dropped a candle in the house that caused him to burn himself. In fact, earlier on in the trial, we heard audio from a video from that night after this candle incident, and Kevin Clark testified to this.
Because we got to get it fixed, so lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay? You got it?
Now, these are the stories that she's telling. One of the names, just you guys almost made me spit earlier when I took a drink when you said Eduardo. She just made that off the top of her head. Oh, this guy Eduardo came in and she went on and on and on from that. Hey, Jamie, how you doing, my friend? Thank you. From Puerto Rico. Oh, what's up, my fellow Puerto Rican? All right. Prison calls yes, they do. And so do a few others that I know that have different calls. And I love it. Love these creators.
You got it? I'm just worried about my okay. Shh. Listen.
The next entry is at 9:46 p.m. What is that entry?
This is the video taken from the defendant's phone, video number 6115. And it's the video of a candle had spilt. And the defendant is telling Gannon about how they're going to have to sell items to pay to fix.
Nothing's happened with Francis. Thank you for reminding us about Trinity. I know Trinity Perez, and I talked to her father. Not talked to him. He texted me. I rarely answer the phone, but he texted me, and I didn't even connect Francis Queso. Now, Queso was charged in 2024, but she has money, guys. So after that happened, she got charged with aggravated manslaughter, child endangerment, drug possession, and paraphernalia. I do not see that there's been a trial or any of that. All I know is in 2024, May 25th, she was found. They charged her because of the illegal drugs and paraphernalia that Trinity overdosed from, but nothing's happened with it. Trinity was 12 years old at the time. I will definitely keep you updated, user and friends, if there's anything to update. All right. I do still talk to the father. So yes.
Fix it. And it ends with Gannon saying, I'm just worried about my burns. And then the defendant saying, so tomorrow, and then ending the movie.
It's interesting. It's interesting. But the question, of course, is she telling the truth about Gannon's health? It's awfully curious that he's having these issues the day before she allegedly kills him. And by the way, on an earlier episode of Sidebar, we actually broke down a few of the many lies of Letecia Stauch that she told throughout the investigation. We heard earlier in the trial from Leslie Hicks, the assistant principal of Gannon's middle school, who testified about Letecia Stauch texting her in the early morning hours of January 27, 2020. Kevin Clark backed up Hicks' testimony with the data.
The next entry is at 4:36 a.m. What is that?
This is a message from the defendant to Ms. Hicks, the assistant principal. And the defendant sent a message saying, "I'm sorry for the time of night message, but my stepfather passed away. Someone hit him with a car while he was walking. I can update you at a later time," and included a
Guys, bottom line is Letecia just lies to lie. Okay. She lies about everything. Hence why moving forward, I call her Letecia. In every chat that I go into that is talking about Letecia Stauch, I call her Letecia. Everything she says is just a lie. Yeah, she likes seeing people in pain, but she really had it out for Gannon.
crying face emoji.
We had testimony from Dakota Lowry, the defendant's brother. What did the defendant's stepfather pass away on this January 27th date?
No.
When did he actually pass away? Do you remember? Was it years before this?
It was September 21st of 2006, I believe.
Letecia Stauch lies to Leslie Hicks about her stepfather. Why is she lying about Gannon?
I have to tell you that I gotta differ with you on this. She's hood psychotic. That's even worse than a regular psychotic person. All right. I'm telling you, you're going to see how much she's changed and how she talks. She is psychotic and probably 10 other things, but the 10 other things do include her being hood. And I think a lot of people didn't realize that until later on with her background, the things that she did to get where she was, the fight she got into, the manipulations. I assure you, hood goes with the psychotic. All right. That's what I'm going to say.
That is the question. And also,
Yep.
Mr. Clark finds it odd that Letecia decides to leave her phone at home.
The next entry you have is at 9:54
Thank
a.m. to
you.
9:59 a.m. What is that?
So this is getting ready to go on their outing Monday afternoon. So at 9:54 to 9:59 a.m., these messages were sent to Mr. Stauch from the defendant. Starts out with saying, "Left phone at home, call G's on my watch. It may stay connected, and we will monitor it."
Evil
And at
hood.
9:59, Mr. Stauch replies with K. And then, I'm sorry.
Oh, I think I was going to ask just what you were getting ready to jump into. So that text message.
Now remember, she's focused on calling in sick for Gannon when she's killed him. So they're putting all this together. Karina, haven't seen you in months. I hope everyone's doing good. We are. Glad to see you. Happy Friday. Going into Easter weekend.
Message about leaving home happens between 9:54 and 9:59. What time did they actually depart? And when I say they, tell us who the they is.
They, the defendant and Gannon,
They have
actually
camera
departed at 10:12.
footage. They can see him
And we
leaving.
see that's on video that we've previously admitted, Exhibit 41, the surveillance video from 6643 Mandan Drive.
That's correct.
The next entry you have is at 10:39 a.m. to 2:45 p.m. What is that?
So after they leave, from 10:39 a.m. to 2:45 p.m., the defendant's phone had no outgoing activity. In fact, all of the incoming calls and text messages, the phone was in fact left at home because here's the tower and sector that's servicing that activity. We know through financials and other investigative leads that the defendant drove the red Nissan truck up to the Petco on North Nevada. During this time, the phone was active at the house, but all incoming activity. There was no outgoing activity.
Based on looking at the download and other data points for the defendant's phone, was it unusual for her to leave her phone at home when she would go to trips to stores or what have you?
This is the only instance I know of that happening.
Where she was getting rid of the body. Yeah, narcissist, psychopath, evil, ghetto, whatever you want. Yeah, she got into trouble in prison for selling her prison sweat pants online. She is freaking ridiculous. She's making a whole thing out of her prison stay, guys. All right. And yeah, she's a convicted killer of Mr. Gannon Stauch. Okay. She was sentenced to many life sentences plus 156 years, but the judge messed up by not pulling a juror out when he should have. That juror was related to the jail or to the staff in the 4th district, and he can't do that. So she gets a new trial. Well, they could decide if she gets a new trial, but we're gonna see what happens. She's got to get a new trial, but I don't know where they're gonna go with it. Janika J, thank you. I grew up in the hood. You're right, demonic. Yeah, there you go. Hey, I'm all good. There is nothing wrong with the hood, like I said. But when you mix hood with demonic and psychopathic, oh boy, Al did not. I assure you, she faked it. Al did not know who she was. All right, let's continue.
First, it seems Letecia Stauch is basically lying to Al, Gannon's father, saying that the phone was left at home, but they didn't leave the house yet. Then there's about a 4-hour period where there's no outgoing activity on Leticia's phone. She does respond to a text message from Al, and then there's no activity on her phone until 3:32 p.m. Leticia's daughter, Lena, gets home from school at 3:15 p.m. Leticia's other daughter, Harley, gets home from work at 4:37 p.m. And then Kevin Clark points out that Letecia Stauch then told her daughters to pick up cleaning supplies and what the significance of that may be.
The next entry is at 4:51 p.m. What is that entry?
Right about the time the FaceTime happens, both Harley and Lena leave the house together in the Jetta.
The next entry is at 4:52 p.m. What is that?
I mean, look at that timeline. They've got this down. I am going to be really surprised if they do a whole new trial, but not really. I mean, I don't know what the criteria meets if she has a say, if whatever happens. She has nothing to lose by going into court. She gets a different, routine. She gets to flip people off and just be a complete asshole. So who knows? They have a lot of evidence, guys.
The defendant sends a text message to Harley saying carpet powders, 2 things, baking soda, trash bags.
Why is that significant?
Cleaning products.
As it relates to cleaning products, what does the investigation show as to the likely time that Gannon was murdered?
Prior to Lena getting home from school.
On this January 27th?
That's correct.
Do you ever see, through any portion of the investigation from that point on, ever see Gannon alive on any videos, audio recordings, or anything like that?
You do not.
So you get the implication there about why she wanted these cleaning supplies and the time she wanted these cleaning supplies.
Right.
Now, after Harley and Lena return home, Letecia claims to her family members that Gannon is at a friend's house and told him to be home by 6 p.m. She updates Gannon's father, Al, throughout with text messages. She tells Al that she's going to drive around, look for Gannon. But here's the thing. Other than that one drive that she ended up taking with her daughter, Stauch doesn't go out again. And what does Clark say that Letecia Stauch was doing instead? Well, data indicates she was on social media. And then between 6:54 and 6:58 p.m. on January 27th, Letecia repeatedly calls law enforcement to report Gannon missing. From there, Stauch is in the middle of text exchange and calls between her and Harley and Al. But here is something else that is very odd. Later on in the night, there is an outgoing call. But from who?
And then 10:03 p.m., what is that?
It's an outbound call from Gannon's phone to Landon that lasted 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
Oh, God.
Based on the indications that you testified to earlier, is Gannon alive at 10:03 p.m. on January 27th?
No.
And yet a phone call is originating from Gannon's phone to Landon's phone, which is Gannon's mother. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It's so shady,
Do you know
guys.
who was using Gannon's phone at that particular time?
All premeditated.
Letecia
I
Stauch
know.
using Gannon's phone to call his biological mother while he's missing? That's curious.
Yeah, I've been following up on this case and I pay attention to what's going on. I absolutely believe that her daughter talked to her only for a bit with post conviction. She may have talked to her once or twice, but I don't think she's talking to her at all, guys. Of course she was on social media. Yeah, I think her daughter, it was heartbreaking what she did to her daughter and how she tried to blame her and how she used her. I really don't think that they talk, but we'll find out in the jail calls.
Police eventually arrive at the home later on in the night. They stay for almost 2 hours. That's basically the end of the day of Gannon's disappearance. So as we know, Letecia Stauch was arrested on March 2nd, 2020, and Gannon's remains were found a couple weeks later on March 17th, 2020 in Pace, Florida. As I mentioned, the forensics and odd statements and actions of Letecia Stauch are being used by Colorado prosecutors to show that she murdered her stepson. But now, let's get into the internet searches, which, as we know,
Good, because I brought those up. I want you guys to really understand what these things mean and how ultimately she used them, right? How she literally was putting these into her statements and her different lies. I mean, come on. I need a fake marriage license. Can someone change words in a video? Well, yeah, if we had AI, we weren't using AI in 2023 the way we do now. Colorado's closed cases. She's trying to see, did they close the cases? She was calling law enforcement to get updates on the case, just like all the other ones do. They interject themselves into the case to find out if the investigators know what happened. Not because they want to know what happened, because they know what happened. They committed the crime. They just want to know. All right. They just want to interject themselves, like Chris Proudfoot and Katie. Oh, yeah, we talk to them all the time. Yeah, yeah. And Daniel Martel. Yeah, I've been in touch with the police at least 3 times a week. Yeah, because you want to know what they have against you.
Now, here on Sidebar and Law and Crime, those searches tell us so much in these kinds of criminal cases, and they really do here. The analysis of Letecia Stauch's phone gets very, very interesting when crime and intelligence analyst Kevin Clark testifies about what he found in Letecia Stauch's web search history. Here are her Google searches on February 20th, 2020, almost a month after Gannon's disappearance.
As it relates now to the those wire collected phones.
I want you to see that she's bored in court. I mean, her lawyer looks bored too, but it's so disrespectful when you're in a trial or court to be doing what she's doing. So many things with the flipping off. That's Gannon's family right there. You can see his dad with the bald head, Al, and that may be his new wife. He's got a new wife now, or Landon. I'm not sure, but she's sitting there like this, like she's just bored out of her mind. So disrespectful.
Phone calls in those specific calls about fakepolygraph.com. Did you find anything in the defendant's cell phone download that coincided with attempts to get a fake polygraph report?
I did.
How did you find that information?
She tried to get a
In
fake
the
polygraph.
web search and web history portion of the cell phone download, I can see all the searches made and then the websites visited.
And so just for context purposes, when we were talking about the cell phone usage on the 27th and 28th, that particular phone, we heard testimony from Commander Mitch Mahalko that it was seized on January 29th. The testimony that you're talking about now, as far as it relates to the fake polygraph information, what phone is that specifically?
This is going to be the defendant's third phone, the one that we took in South Carolina.
She allegedly not only searches for fake polygraph tests, but also then ends up trying to pay for fake polygraph test results from a company.
Guys, you can't make this stuff up. All right. And she's evil, psychopath, whatever you want to call it. In my opinion, this woman is one of the most evil people that I've covered. All right.
Now, again, remember, under Colorado law, insanity is about whether essentially the defendant knew right from wrong. And when you have someone who is seemingly figuring out ways to fake a polygraph test, that arguably shows she knows what she did will get her into trouble and she's trying to get out of it, right? Give you another idea of that. Listen to what Kevin Clark and investigators found in the Notes app of Letecia Stauch's phone.
So we've got the top half of the left side of that page on the screen right now. Tell the jury what we're looking at there.
So this is the notes section of the phone. Many of the phones come equipped with a place you can write down notes and thoughts as a standard part of the phone. And so in the notes section of the phone, on February 19th at 2020, at 11:53 a.m. local time in Colorado. So this is actually
look at her head's down now. I'm surprised she just doesn't get a pillow and take a freaking nap. All right. Yeah, her eyes are evil. Everything about her is evil. Again, this is what we're looking at. This piece of trash, human garbage, just sitting there and just being disrespectful, flipping them off, making faces, and just blatantly, she doesn't give a shit. And the family's there crying, and she looks like the girl on the old Exorcist, Linda Blair. Oh my goodness. All right, let's continue. I got the jail call preview. I really want to go over the jail calls. I can't wait.
1:53 p.m. when the defendant did this in her local time out in South Carolina.
1:53 p.m. you mean?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, at 1:53 p.m.
Okay.
So there's a 2-hour time difference between Mountain Time and East Coast time. And so the title of the note is, in the case involving missing child Gannon Stauch, do you intend on ...
Now we're going to go over to the right side of page 1.
You guys.
Looking at the top quarter of that page. Tell the jury what we're looking at there.
Trying to get out of the screen.
Like I previously described, the title, if not manually entered, it's going to take the first part of the first paragraph. And this is what you see. So there's a question in the body of the note saying, in the case involving missing child Gannon Stauch, do you intend on telling the truth? ?
And the next line?
The next one is a second question saying, in the case involving your stepson, Gannon, did you inflict harm on him in any way?
Okay, so I want you to understand. I'm going to take a quick second to tell you that these are the results of the lie detector test that she took, the fake lie detector. Now, you guys can even go check it out yourself. Type in fake lie detector test.com or whatever. You can pay them to do a lie detector test from a company that's supposed to be credible. but you can't ask them questions like this about killing someone or something illegal. They're not going to give you that information, or they're not going to put that out there, which rightfully so. Thank you, Truth Seeker. I'm glad you're here, my friend. I see you around, but not always here. Thanks for coming. Yeah, Timu, I love it. Timu lie detectors. All right, guys, we have 140 people in chat. Can you hit that like button for me, please? Get a membership. Get yourself a membership. Gift yourself a membership. Come on, it's Friday. Easter Friday.
Way. And then the third question is, did you accidentally hurt him in a physical way? And the fourth question is, did you murder your stepson? And the fifth question is, do you know personally who is involved with your stepson's disappearance?
Those are all questions that this is
Is that the
beautiful.
sum of the first page of People's Exhibit
Beautiful.
692?
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, again,
You think?
we know that Letecia Stauch killed her stepson, Gannon. But all this activity that took place after his death, just on Letecia Stauch's phone alone, when we're asking, did she fully appreciate what she did? I don't know. Clark would go into more Google searches that were found on Leticia's phone, and it definitely gets more interesting.
What is the next search on February 21st, 2020?
7:23 p.m. Need a guy who wants me to move in.
The next search on February 21st, 2020?
7:24 p.m. Find a man with a place to let me move in.
And again, it's not as impactful when I put it up like that. But when we're looking at that in court and hearing him and seeing her and how the jury, not the jury, the people in the seats, the audience that are there, this is Gannon Stauch. Letecia Stauch's conviction was overturned, and she has a right to a new trial. So we're talking about Gannon Stauch. He's the victim here, and we need to make sure justice is served and that she doesn't get out on some technicality in the way that she is now. She is absolutely getting a new trial on a technicality, and they're not even trying to hide that. It is what it is. The judge messed up, and now we have to all, and you know what? Forget about us. What about his family members? You guys know this case. You remember how much of a toll it took on his family.
And then do we have, let me see, 4 searches on February 22nd, 2020?
Yes.
What is the first one?
9:50 a.m.
I know.
Change my facial appearance, but appearance is misspelled APPEARMCE.
And the next search on February 22nd, 2020?
Also at 9:50 a.m. Drastic ways to change your appearance.
The next search on February 22nd, 2020?
2 minutes later, see what my face will, but misspelled SILL, period,
Oh,
be with plastic
man.
surgery.
Thank you, Jessica.
And the next search on February 22nd, 2020?
Also at 9:52, plastic surgery, Myrtle Beach, SC.
Did this indicate to you that the defendant is still indicating a
I
willingness or want to change her appearance to evade the investigation?
Yes,
And then do we have 4 searches on February 23rd, 2020?
we do.
What is the first one?
3:08 a.m. Gannon Stauch found.
Was he found on February 23rd?
No.
What,
No, she was looking for articles to find out if he was found, and she got life without the possibility of parole plus 156 years. All right, if you don't know about this case, guys, this is Letecia Stauch. She was convicted for taking the life of Gannon, stabbing him 18 times before hitting him in the head and then shooting him with a 9mm. She was found guilty in 2023 on all counts, including first-degree M and the murder of a child under the age of 12 by a person in a position of trust, tampering with physical evidence, and tampering with a deceased human being. We shouldn't even be talking about her right now, but we are, because this conviction was overturned. All right. It was overturned, and now we have to start all over, and we don't know what they're going to do when they start all over. We have no idea. It's out of all of our control, but we have to pray for the family. They don't have to go through this again. She was awful in court, guys. She was a monster in court.
what's the next search on February 23rd, 2020?
8:24 a.m. Replacement passport.
The next search on February 23rd, 2020?
3:15 p.m.
Nappy.
Shock from period watching someone get shot.
Is someone misspelled?
Yes, it's spelled SOMEOKE.
Is this the first indication that we have, well, let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gannon's body still had not been found by this time, right?
Not yet.
Is this the first indication that we have of consciousness by the defendant of Gannon being shot?
Yes.
And then the final search on February 23rd, 2020.
5:13 p.m. Face mask that looks real to disguise.
Change facial appearance? Drastic ways to change appearance? Clearly, this is someone trying to disappear and get away. No? Again, if she knew killing Gannon was a crime and the police would be after her, she can't really claim insanity.
And guys, she confesses in the trial. When you watch it, there's a full-on videotape of her confession to that wackadoodle psychiatrist. She tries to pretend like she's having an outer body experience, like she does in the vehicle when she hits the lady with the monster. She's all like creeping up from the depths of hell. Yes, there's no death penalty. You're right, the jab, pure evil. I love that. Blockhead. No death penalty in Colorado. She did dump Gannon's body in Florida. Had they tried her there, she could have got the death penalty, but then the family would have had issues. FBI would have had to step in, etc., etc.
All right. Now let's get into some of the most disturbing Google searches that were found on Letecia Stauch's phone. And these regarded the state of her stepson Gannon's body.
The date ranges are February 27th through March 1st. And this is still off of phone number 3, the South Carolina phone.
Are there 7 searches that occurred on February 27th, 2020?
There are.
Jab
What is the first search?
mouse.
7:03 a.m.
There
How
you
do police
go.
tell whose
Thank
body has been found?
Considering the circumstances in this case, where Gannon's body had not been found for a number of days, almost 2 full months, does that seem to indicate, from your perspective, some knowledge that it's going to be difficult to identify Gannon's remains?
It indicates to me that there's research being done to see how difficult it would be.
What is the next search on February 27th, 2020?
7:58 a.m. Can God help me escape jail time? And escape is misspelled ESCAOE.
The next search on February 27th, 2020?
8:05 a.m. How do, period, they identify whose, misspelled WHOS, blood is at the scene?
The next search on February 27th?
You know, I don't know what nationality Letecia is, but she's just ghetto. I mean, that's all I can say about that. I don't know if she's, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Is she Hispanic? Is she probably Hispanic is of some sort, descent? Yeah, we'll just call her the Hobbit. How about that? Look at her in court. She's bored AF and she's got her hair all in her face. Like, come on, bitch. Own up to it.
2020?
8:35 a.m. Find people who want to go to, period, jail.
Native
The next search on
American.
February 27th, 2020?
8:58 a.m. Spanish girl names.
Is Maria Sanchez a Spanish girl name?
Very traditional, yes.
Yes.
Is Little Lucia potentially a Spanish girl name?
Lucia is, yes.
Yeah.
The next search on February 27th, 2020?
9:04 a.m. Petco, Nevada, Colorado Springs.
Was that a point of reference in this investigation?
Wild.
3 times.
And then the final search on February 27th, 2020, what is it?
10 a.m. Find an immigrant who will admit to a crime.
It is incredibly chilling to think that this woman was Googling what her stepson's body will look like after decomposing, but it's also so problematic for her. Because like I said, it seems like she's trying to figure out how to get away with this.
Yep.
That's the allegation, at least. As I always say,
She's still
it's not my decision. It's not what I believe. It's all up to the jury. It's all up to the jury to determine her guilt. But here's what we know. Kevin Clark was a huge, impactful witness for the prosecution. And he was able to tie this timeline all together and make sense of it. And with the trial winding down, Letecia Stauch's defense team will have some very heavy lifting to do to fight for their client. That's all we have for you here on Sidebar.
All right, so that gave you a good idea. If you don't remember what happened, now you can remember. All right, we're going to go over this case. I'm going to cover it, and if you guys are here for it, then I'll continue doing the jail calls. Now, this was a pre-trial jail call that just came out, or post-conviction, but I want you to understand what we're going to be doing on here and the things that I'm going to present. If you guys are into it, then I'm into it. All right. Yeah. Bath salts. She was trying to say that Gannon was taking bath salts and she didn't know if he was doing drugs or what. This poor little boy, 11 years old, guys, and she did him dirty like that. He's in his own house, and that she gaslit him before she even took his life. She was gaslighting him to get him grounded, to get his Nintendo Switch, or I don't know if they had a Switch back then, but his favorite thing was his game, his portable game, and he would get grounded all the time. She would tell his dad, Al, that he did something wrong. She was constantly gaslighting this little boy all the way up until her taking his life. All right. Thank you, Saucy Skin CBD. Hashtag bath salts. Yeah. I got you. I got you. Hope you're having a good day, Saucy Skins, and Jen's a gypsy. He loved Sonic the Hedgehog. He did. All right, let's continue. I'm going to give you some previews of what we will be doing, and we'll go from there because I do want to cover this case. I didn't get to back then.
Hey.
Hold on. 2023, Letecia Stauch was convicted of murdering her stepson in 2020. Letecia is currently located at Denver Women's.
Hey, my phone broke yesterday or something. I don't know. They have these cheap phones here.
Yeah. I want you to listen to her voice. It progressively gets more like I'm a thug. And she really does. She really, if you look at her background and you look at her history, she's not far from that. She just tricked this family. All right. She tricked this whole family, in my opinion. Robin, I see you've got a membership. Thank you. Yes, poor Gannon. All right, let's listen to what she has to say. Me.
Hey, you know what?
What?
I balanced my checkbook, so I'm on the road now. I'm gonna send you some money. And Amy texted me this morning, and she reminded me.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? My mind's short.
Yeah.
My mind's short, baby.
I
So
know.
As soon as I get where I'm at, I'm gonna send you your money. Okay?
Okay, where are you going?
I'm on my way to the beach.
Oh, to your friend's house. Yeah.
Well, he's with me, but I'm on my way to.
Isn't this her biggest advocate is Aunt Brenda? She doesn't have anybody to manipulate, so she's manipulating this lady, and she's there for it. Claudia, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Jay, she has a similar look in her eyes of Richard Ramirez. All she's missing is the pentagram. I wouldn't doubt it if she has a pentagram tattooed somewhere. She's going to get it in prison. She's been in prison, and she's playing with the big girls now. She's playing with them. She starts to let her ghetto out.
His house. We spend a week at home and a week at his place.
Yeah.
I feel like a logistic truck driver hauling goods up and down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, all about me.
Okay, I was just gonna remind you because I have to put the order in for next because I didn't get to get any this week because I didn't have any. So I have to put the order in for next week.
Is your dad or any of them sending you any money?
No, Aunt Brenda, no.
Have you asked them?
Yeah, I did. And last time my dad ever did anything, put anything in my account was in November. I asked Harley to always ask my mom to do it. Anybody to help, because all these times I've bought stuff for them, and none of that matters to them.
You listen to her voice. We watched that interview just a little while ago. She sounded nothing like that. She was just a full-on front, full-on. I'm this. I am just perturbed by what's happening to me. I cannot believe that they're blaming me. I can't wait for my apology. And listen to her there. It gets progressively worse as well over the time that she's in prison with the phone calls. Her true self really comes out.
You know what I mean?
Well, does your mom ever send you any money?
No, my mom's never sent me anything here. Never.
Do you ever talk to her?
No, I don't call her because why? Why should I have to call her? Because what am I you know what I mean? Like, what am I going to talk to her? They're all mad because I'm telling the truth about their problem. Like, you know what I mean? Because of how they've called her out on these. You see what I'm saying?
No, we don't.
And so, like, whenever she talks to them, she's just trying to be like, well, that's all in the past. You see what I'm saying? And, like, she's not realizing, like, she's mad about how they had to come ask you about how, she was in my childhood and all that. So she's like taking defense to all that. You know what I mean? And I was like, Aunt Brenda ain't gonna lie about none of that. She'll back up exactly what I'm saying.
I just told the truth.
I know that's what I'm saying. We've done it but told the truth, but she can't stand that. So you know, she turns it into, well, I'm a Christian and I'm in a church group, and
They don't share. They still got to know what went on in the past,
I
regardless.
know.
That's part of your defense is how you were raised up.
It's hard to understand what she's trying to convey with that accent because it's definitely not a Southern accent. She's not from the South at all. Yeah, I gotta say I think it's manipulation along with jail accents coming in, but I assure you, when they started doing the trial and they looked into her past and the things that she's done and the ghetto in her was all there from the time that she met Al. She just tricked him, guys. When you see pictures with her and Al, she's not even like the same person she is. It's like a whole new morph, okay? Like she definitely fooled all of them.
That's part of your defense.
I know that ain't Brenda, but what you're asking me about why my mom is like that, because you notice what she does. She pretends that nothing's wrong because now she's Christian, which is totally fine. Jesus does forgive you, but it doesn't take away that fact. You know what I mean?
Know what I mean,
So
Bird?
that's why she does that.
Yeah, but she needs to get over it and tell how what's going on now coming up.
I know that.
I
know
know
that,
that.
Brenda.
I know that. I know that.
That's part of your defense of you getting out of jail.
I know that. I'm just trying to. I'm not worried about it because I'm not a murderer, so I'm not worried about that. But like the point of it is you asked me a question about that, and like I don't know what else I'm supposed to do about it because you know she's not gonna do anything. You gotta think how many times she's ever. I was the one doing it. Like in the last few years that I was, you know, whatever I done stuff for them.
She's
You know what I mean?
wild. She's
Yeah, because you done stuff for her and bought her stuff.
Now listen, she does not have many supporters, but she does have a lot of friends in there, I guess. She's very active in prison. It's Aunt Brenda. You don't see the screen, Mo? Letecia Stauch and Aunt Brenda, and this was post-conviction. She's still trying to claim she did not kill Gannon. However, we listened to her confessing in an interview. She needs to be in a man's prison so she can feel what it's like to be in a power imbalance and taken advantage of, like she did to the little boy. I agree. It's still me, 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 me. And yeah, she's feral AF, right? It's her aunt. What's up, Wendy? You made it. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Come on in.
And this and that and other, which it is in the past. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
And I thought, if they forgot all about me.
I mean, because she never had that kind of stuff, and like, I knew you did, but like at the same time, she ain't even done. Like she doesn't even do anything to help me, and like I don't know. It makes me feel like stressed out about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because that's just
whatever.
my mom. You know what I mean? And I can't change it. I mean, unfortunately, I was born with her as my mom, and I don't even understand why.
Well, but I'll think
like I could have had any other mom in the world, but I had to have her.
Oh, it's your mom's fault now.
Well, I understand that, baby. I'm gonna and Harley's in the nursing program, I think now. She sent me a picture with her with her scrubs on.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and stuff yesterday. So as soon as I get to Tony's house, I can get on the computer and send you your money.
All right. I'm sorry. I get stressed out when I talk about that because I'd be ready to freak out. She's just not a good mom.
I know.
She's not a good mom. Does anyone know what she did to her daughter, Harley? She's not a good mom. Harley doesn't understand why you are her mom either. Amen, Michelle. Amen. That poor little girl lost her whole family. Okay. Harley lost her entire family because she got caught up in the dynamics of this case and testifying for her mom, even though she didn't want to. It was kind of a 50-50 split. It was against her, but because it's her mom, Al didn't want to have that relationship, and they didn't want to have that relationship with her because she was still with her mom. That's still her mom. So she lost Al, she lost Landon, she lost all the family members, gone, and now her mom's locked up. Ghetto trailer trash. I agree. Step monster. Royal Bitch X, good to see you. Happy Friday to you, always.
I understand. I mean, I just asked the question because I don't mind sending you your money. I mean, I really don't. I know you're going to need it and stuff, and I'll do what I can do.
Trust me, if
You know?
I could have picked another whole mom and dad, I would have. But obviously, that was not up to me.
I know. I understand. I mean, I understand. But anyway,
Damn, look at those
so how
pictures
are you
of
feeling?
her.
I mean, what do you got planned for today? I mean, same thing every day?
Every
Yeah,
day.
and I always have to deal with this thing every day about people always asking me, "Why was my mom the way she was?" I have to tell that to the therapist people. I tell that to everybody, and I just get tired of being like, "What do you? Maybe y'all should go him her up and ask her why, because I don't know the answer."
But so are they going to let you out any lately, or are you still like closed in and can't go outside?
No, they don't let us go outside.
Man, I just trying to get outside.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while since you've seen the daylight.
I can't even imagine anybody supporting her from the outside. It's the most wild thing. And when you see the jail calls with the video, it's like she is not the same person that we saw over her, all the interrogations and the phone calls. She definitely faked the funk. Yeah, she's blaming her mom. She blames everybody but herself. She's saying she's not murdered, then she's not. Okay, yeah, we believe that. I'm glad you made it. I hope you are happy with this coverage. And if you want more, let me know. All right, let's continue. I want you to hear the progression.
Yeah, it's like September.
Okay. Okay. Do you when I send you your money, will you have money to buy you something warm to wear? I mean, I know it's getting summertime a little bit.
They don't have a summer here in Brendan. It's always cold.
Yes.
Well, you always have money in your money. I send you to buy you some thermals, don't you? Some.
Yeah.
Just make sure you stay warm and stuff like that.
Ted Bundy wasn't either.
I know. I
wish I could. I wish I could do more, but.
I know. It ain't that. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just stressed out about everybody always saying something to me about my mom, and I'm like, what do y'all want me to do? Not you.
She never talked like that in any other interview. Never, ever, ever. When we start getting into the interrogations where she goes in and asks for a freaking Hot Pocket, she's hungry and they give her a Hot Pocket and a Coke. That is none. I mean, this is just like a completely different person. And it's interesting to see how years later she's morphed. All right. Completely. But I don't think that she's morphed. I think she was just faking it. And now the real her is out. I just can't understand what else. That's
But you know what I mean.
wild. You know what I mean,
I mean, I understand. Don't forget, we were raised together.
I know. And I just feel like, because like they'll all ask me and they'll be like, ain't Brenda knows about this? I'm like, yes, Brenda came and got me. She came and got me from the beach when all this went on. I'm like, if it weren't for her and Grandpa, like I would go stay with them, but Mama never let me stay with them. She'd always come back and take me. Just because she wanted to prove a point that, whatever. And it's like I'm just breaking down from talking about this to people all the time. Because I had a horrible mom and I can't take it.
You're a horrible
It's all right,
mom.
baby. Don't worry about it. We got it handled. We got it taken care of.
She still thinks she's getting out.
And my dad, like, what? I mean, he never even been there. And then they were like, well, your dad tried to get you when you... Yeah, my dad tried to come and get my life when I was 17. What'd you want me to do? Like, hey, where you been at all these years? It's okay. I forgive you. I was like, Uncle Tommy was the only one that was ever more of like a dad figure.
No.
I know.
No, I think he's just being sarcastic, Carol. I don't think he's actually trolling us. I think he's just being sarcastic, saying she can't be lying in that way. He's not really being serious. He's just saying because the jail calls, they have to say certain things or you can't say certain things because they're recording them. Well, that's what she's trying to do. And he's just being facetious about her. He's not gaslighting us. All right.
But you know what I mean.
All right. Let's continue. I want you to hear the progression.
I know. I know. It ain't that. I'm not saying that to you. I'm just stressed out about everybody always saying something to me about my mom. And I'm like, what do y'all want me to do? Not you.
Tommy's they're always there for you, and he was there for Harley. Uncle Tommy's been there for a bunch of you guys.
They were like, well, can we talk to you? And I'm like, what do you mean? Unfortunately, people like him who were good, his life had to end.
Yeah. But anyway,
sorry. I know. I don't want to get you upset, but I'm just telling you.
You never did tell Harley what books you want. You need
I
to
know.
let
I know. I will, Brenda. I just was more worried about, getting.
I'm not worried about my books. I'm worried about my commissary. That's all I need from you. If you just give me my money now, we can get off the phone, Aunt Brenda.
Food and stuff, but I'll send it to her.
Yeah, you need to go ahead and start back reading your books and maybe one of these book games or something. Scribble or whatever it's called that you like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you need to know what books you want so we can go ahead and get you the books to start back reading. You need to start back reading and playing your little games, those book games and puzzles. You get your mind off.
Oh, poor Letecia Stauch. You need to play games and fill that time until you get out in 156 years times 4 life sentences.
Okay, so when you talk, tell Harley to jot them down so I can have and get them for you, okay?
Okay. You said you're going to the beach now?
Yeah. So as soon as I get there and stuff, I'll send you your money, okay, baby?
Okay.
I gotta put thing too.
Okay. All right. Y'all be careful, okay?
I have to. I gotta get it down. I can't just think that I have to call it.
Okay, I'll remind you.
Yeah. My friend Tony told me he would remind me.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
You don't think she? Okay.
All right. All right. Maybe I got time for you to get off. So I love you, baby. So if you need me, call me, okay?
Okay. All right. Y'all be careful. Okay. Love you. Bye.
Love you, baby. Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
All right, so there's so many. I mean, it's not just phone calls from prison, but there are a lot of other ones other channels that have covered it. And I'm so grateful that they did now. I never thought we would come back around to this, but I do want to show you something about Gannon and the affidavit of how she took his life in his bedroom. And that picture that I was
the evidence
hold on, the picture that I was referring to that's in his bed, I absolutely don't think he was alive anymore. In other calls, it's some girl. Yes, there is. There are other girls that she met. She's got a BFF in some of the other calls. And some of the people that cover this are the people like Alex Aris and Allie and stuff like that. So they'll be cool with me using their content, I'm sure, as long as I let them know or tag them, whatever. All right, listen what she did. Here's what happened real quick. So even like for user blah 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 that says I don't think she did it, either you're joking with me or you're trying to gaslight me. Here it is.
Lay out the evidence allowing police to arrest Letecia Stauch weeks before Gannon's body was tentatively found in Florida. The affidavit alleges Letecia killed Gannon in his bedroom on January 27th, put him in the back of her Volkswagen SUV, then at a later date drove to an area on Highway 105 to get rid of him. Investigators reportedly found evidence of blood in his room and on a piece of a board found along Highway 105.
This is really a very comprehensive affidavit.
Criminal defense attorney Christopher Decker went through the reported evidence with us. Pictures found on Leticia's phone that morning reportedly show Gannon sleeping in his bed alive, and investigators captured their own photos showing the furniture in that room allegedly in a different position. Text from her phone reportedly.
See, that was the picture I'm referring to in his bed. I absolutely believe that when she sent that picture, and Al believes it too, because you guys will hear, if as I cover this, you'll hear Al and Landon giving, closing statements or impact statements and other things, press conference. And he talks about that picture that she sent him of Gannon that we believe allegedly he was already dead. All right. She lost weight. No, she didn't. She's gained so much. You're looking at old pictures of her. Did you see her recently, Rachel? The new pictures I saw of her, she got fat. Wait, I want to know what you're talking about now. Let's continue. because she's not
They
thin.
show Letecia sent a message to her daughter that evening asking for 2 things of carpet powder, baking soda, and trash bags.
Cleaning
Clear
supplies.
effort to clean up.
Another big deal for Decker. The affidavit alleges on Valentine's Day, Letecia
Snail
told her
hounds.
husband 4 different stories of what happened. One says Letecia reportedly stated blood found in Gannon's room was a mixture of hers and his.
The only person that would know that would either be a forensic examiner or a person who was present at the time of the murder.
And last, Google searches. The affidavit alleges she made searches like, find a guy who wants me to take care of his kids and get paid. Why should my husband choose me over family? One day, some people will wish they treated you differently. I feel like just a nanny, not a stepmom.
Those are supportive of the prosecution's theory here.
Guys, can I tell you something? Google and AI is not a place to talk, not a person to talk to, or a place to go ask questions. Does he love me? What can I do if my boyfriend leaves me? Now, it doesn't say that in here, but there are a lot of cases nowadays that I cover, and the Google searches are outrageous. I cannot wait until we start getting those AI chat bot friends and what people are talking to them about. That is a freaking bait if I ever seen one. All right, it's wild. It is wild. Was life really so tough? Exactly. She was just bored.
This is a woman who was very unhappy in her marriage. She was led to this horrific murder because she was lashing out.
Wait, what?
Begin with a disturbing development in the brutal murder of an 11-year-old El Paso County boy. As Letecia Stauch sits in prison for her stepson Gannon's murder, a true crime YouTuber is charging money for people to view the gruesome autopsy photos.
KRDO News Channel 13, Scott.
All right, since it's playing, we might as well play it. This is what happened. The whole world was outraged. And I do think that Zav took a little bit of a break from that. Now, mind you, I was up on Zav's panel a few times after this talking about other cases, and that's where I found Carly, and maybe were you Sadie's mama? Anyway, let me just play it now that it's here. This is the autopsy photos that got onto YouTube.
Harrison is live at the El Paso County Courthouse after speaking with the district attorney about this troubling development. Scott.
Well, here at the El Paso County Courthouse is where a jury saw those disturbing autopsy photos during the trial that was this spring. In some cases, the photos were so gruesome that you could hear jurors' cries and gasps while they were being presented. Now, according to the district attorney, Michael Allen, a woman with a YouTube page under the name of Zav Girl somehow recently acquired Gannon's autopsy photos and included them in a video she created on the pay site Patreon. The site charges...
It's Patreon, and yes, that did happen, and I am very interested to know why they sold those photos to her. All right, I checked in with him on his live in the beginning. Oh, Mab's... Okay, Mab's live right now. Well, there he goes. He shouldn't go live at the same time as me if he wants me to be there. I'm just teasing. Go for it, Mr. Mab. Do it. Do it, my friend. He said Patreon. Oh my God, I just said Patron. It's Patreon. They took my Patreon page because I like to show you guys everything that I can about cases. Yeah, I don't have a Patreon anymore. It's ghost.org. Also, you guys, while I stop for a second, you really should go sign up for ghost.org, Guilty of Crime, because you get free news and we tell you about events and things going on. All right, let's continue. We've been here 2.5 hours almost. Thank you guys.
$3 to watch the video. The woman posted on her page that she did it for scientific reasons, for the benefit of people who find the autopsy process interesting and informative. She also said she charges the fee only to cover the costs of producing the video, not for its shock value.
Thank you.
That's one of the things that I think is most troubling about the internet, is that people can hide behind monikers and have some protection that way, which can be good if they're doing something positive. But when they're doing something that's sort of vile and disgusting, like what's happening here, they hide behind their anonymity and can do things that other people would find pretty disgusting and take advantage of that.
Now, we reached out to that YouTuber for comment, but haven't heard back yet. She reportedly put up a statement about the controversy this week, but it is no longer available. In part, she claimed that this was for people who, again, wanted to view those photos for so-called scientific reasons. Not a lot of people agreeing with her tonight. And tonight, coming up at 5, we're going to explain what type of action Gannon Stauch's family is considering taking against that YouTuber. We're live at the El Paso County.
Now, they never did anything. They were very upset, but they never did anything. No, she did. She FOIA'd all of it. I literally don't think in her mind that she thought it was wrong. I don't know why, but I'm sure she learned her lesson by now. I rarely even see her anymore. Anybody else see Zav? That's where Wyatt came from. Wyatt's not here today, but Wyatt came from Zav Girl's channel. After this happened, her channel she kind of went away. She's still around though. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super sticker. Hi everyone. You guys, I have the I downloaded the sentencing where we've got him ripping her a new one, and I believe is Helen them even talk. You guys want to watch the sentencing with the judge, or do you want to watch the sentencing with Dr. G? Let me know, because I'm still here. I mean, all I'm going to do is probably go eat and lay down if I'm not here. Do you guys want to watch sentencing or not? There's 20-minute sentencing or a sentencing with Dr. G where they break it down. No, the kid was not bad. The kid, Gannon Stauch, was a beautiful little boy, a beautiful, perfect angel. And he was Al and Landon's son. You guys, which one do you want to watch? The sentencing with Dr. G or the sentencing that is broken up? I'm just going to put this on because I really want you to hear the outcome. Okay, I thought so. The reason I thought of this is because it's going to help you to decide what's going to happen next with this trial. If the trial comes, this is what happened. You guys, you didn't vote fast enough. You did not vote fast enough. Check this out.
Parents' worst nightmare is getting a phone call letting them know that something has happened to their child.
The longer one.
How much worse must that nightmare be when law enforcement asks not for a picture of your loved one, but rather DNA and dental records? I've also heard it said that one of the worst tragedies a parent can experience is to outlive a child. I have known people, both professionally and personally, who have gone through that. It never leaves them, but the sharpness of the pain does diminish to some extent over time.
We'll do all of the other things later on in the week or next week. I want you guys to hear the impact statements. She doesn't give two shits what the judge is saying right now. Frankly, I think she's bored.
I cannot fathom
Look at her.
the pain Mr. Stauch and Ms. Bullard have experienced as a result of the defendant's actions. A sentence in a criminal case such as this will not change the fact that their son's life was taken from them, and no sentence I impose and nothing I say will ever change that fact. Ms. Stauch, you betrayed the person you loved enough to marry. You told your husband lies and took away someone he loved. You took away every day that Mr. Stauch or Ms. Bullard could have had with their son. When you take a life, regardless of how you do that, you forever alter the future. Neither Mr. Stauch nor Ms. Bullard will ever see their son graduate from high school, go through the joy and the pain of that first love, or get married. They will never know what kind of impact their son made.
I mean, this is like one of the cases that it's one of the worst cases I've ever seen in the way that she gaslights Al and the family and changes her story 4, 5, 6 different times. Her behavior in court, it's almost equivalent to Taylor Shabazz, And yet she's going to get a new trial, guys. Let's pray that she doesn't. Even if she does, she's going to, in my opinion, get convicted again for the same things. But let's pray that they don't let her get off on a technicality or not guilty by reason of insanity, some crazy thing.
May have had on the world if only he had lived to become an adult. And had Gannon's body not been found, they never would have known what happened to Gannon. They would always have had a lingering doubt about what happened to Gannon. And I cannot imagine the pain and sense of loss associated with that. You betrayed your daughter, Harley Hunt. I cannot imagine the emotional impact that you have had on her due to your selfish and calculated actions. This is a young woman that trusted you to put her interests above yours. This is a young woman who believed in you and believed you were innocent of this crime right up until the time that you pled not guilty by reason of insanity. And she still loves you. That's natural for a child, and it doesn't matter how much older they get.
Hey, Rachel.
You were supposed to protect her. I cannot imagine the guilt she feels,
And that is why we are covering it, my friend. Yes, Kimberly, it was just overturned yesterday, we found out. The case is completely overturned, and she can get a new trial. We don't know what they're going to decide, but it was a technicality by the appellate court, right? The appellate court, the appeals are something that they do to look for any little mistake that was made. That was a pretty big mistake. The judge let a juror in that was related to a deputy in the 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office. The same office that was prosecuting Letecia Stauch was also a juror. That's a big no-no. So now she gets a new trial. Yes.
the therapy that she will need to address your betrayal.
I know.
There is no evidence that she had anything to do with the murder or your cover-up of it. But some people still think that she is somehow involved.
No, she's not
She
going to
wasn't.
walk. I hope she doesn't walk, Kimberly.
The incredible strength of will and courage that it took for her to come in and testify is amazing to me. But she did it because, as she said, it was the right thing to do.
He even feels bad for her daughter, Harley. Okay. He's literally talking about her daughter having to come in and testify on what he did to her. The juror didn't do anything. The judge should not have put that juror on the jury, period. The judge knew that that juror was related to whoever, and he agreed to do it anyway. The appellate court or the appeals, people that do appeals, that is their job to find a little glitch or something to get a verdict overturned, and they did. But she's not going to walk, in my opinion.
And while thankfully she didn't testify, let's not forget about Lena. You betrayed her too. You took her brother from her and forever altered her family dynamics. She will always wonder who she can trust and will always feel that loss.
I'm sure they will.
She was there the day you killed Gannon. His body was still in the house when she got back from school.
Yep.
At some point, you even claimed this 8-year-old girl helped you move her brother's body from the basement to the back of your car. That's just simply not true.
That's so
As she gets older, Lena is going to want to know more, and she's going to want to know if there was something that she could have done to prevent this.
See, yeah.
I hope she comes to realize that she has no fault in all of this.
Yeah, son-in-law.
You betrayed your stepson, and you took his life.
Gannon.
You took away everything he was and everything he could ever become. I can't imagine the terror and confusion that he must have felt in the last moments of his life when he knew his life was being taken by someone he trusted to protect it.
She stabbed him 18 times, guys.
Your attempt to raise the claim that you did this because of your adverse childhood is also a betrayal of people that have mental health issues.
I'll check.
It is no secret that there is a large part of our population that has mental health issues. It's also no secret that our country and our health system could do a much better job addressing mental health issues than it does. However, the number of people with mental health issues who become violent is small.
There
And
you
the number
go.
who become murderers is smaller still.
Good. Amen.
Your claim that a mental health issue caused the murder in this case is a disservice to all those who struggle with mental
Yes.
health issues every day. This isn't the first case I have presided over in which sanity, or a mental condition of the defendant has been raised as a defense. I have had cases where the defendant's mental condition caused the defendant to act out in a certain fashion. But even in those cases, I have never seen conduct like this.
Nope.
I understand the claim of dissociative identity disorder. I have seen something resembling that, and I have seen defendants with schizophrenic disorders.
And boy, does he rip her a new one, because she's just using that and he sees it. Now, let me just quickly tell you guys, since you asked about that, Judge Gregory Warner was the original judge that we're listening to right now. He's the one that made the ruling that allowed the biased juror to remain, which the Colorado Court of Appeals later found to be a structural error. Now, the appeals court reversed the conviction, and that's where we are right now. And they remanded the case to a lower court for a new trial. However, none of the reporting specifies which judge will handle the retrial. I'm willing to bet you guys that it's not going to be the same judge. All right. Now, the same trial court, the 4th Judicial El Paso County, is going to receive that case back. I don't think they're going to hand it to that judge, though. But we're going to have the same people that worked on it working on it, minus the judge, I assume. All right, let's continue.
I can understand those. What I have seen is that the mental condition causes the person to act a certain way.
And she did.
And when they realize what they did, they are astonished by what happened, or they have no memory of what happened. Your claim is that it was another personality that murdered Gannon, but there is no time during the minutes, hours, and days following the murder where Letecia came out and wondered, gee, why am I carrying a body around in my luggage? That just isn't credible. You knew what you were doing. You made a number of clear and conscious decisions to cover or disguise what you had done.
Lie, 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 lie.
Claiming a lack of motive is a common defense tactic, and it can be a sound strategy. The truth is, however, that it only takes a moment to make a bad decision that results in disastrous consequences. And oftentimes, we never know why a defendant chose a particular course of action. However, that does not mean that they did not intend to undertake a course of action. Sometimes, as in this case, the likely explanation is anger. An 11-year-old boy with burns who feels that he's not being taken care of. An 11-year-old boy on the verge of being a teenager. Those of us who have lived through people or kids that were teenagers, we know how that is. It is not hard to imagine Gannon saying something, "You're not my mom. I want my mom. I want my dad." And that would be enough to make you really angry. But anger is not an excuse. A defendant is responsible for the choices they made and the actions they undertook, even though those choices arose out of or were motivated by anger. It's clear that you hated and were jealous of Landon Bullard.
Listen.
You saw yourself as a better mother than she was. It's clear from the evidence that you had some resentment from being left with Mr. Stauch's children. It's clear you had some resentment toward Mr. Stauch because he traveled as part of his job. Some of that manifested as early as Al's assignment in Alaska when you made allegations against the people in his unit. That caused Al to have to return from Alaska. And in one of the phone calls that were played for the jury, you talked about having to take care of his kids while he was away and what a good mother you were. It's clear you felt trapped. You wanted out. You were searching for a new job and a new location.
So he's giving us the motive, right? There's no motive because she's claiming that she doesn't even remember doing it and her alter personality did it. All right. Yeah, she did. She plugged her ears. She did a lot of things that were just so disrespectful to the family, to the judge, to the court. I cannot believe they're going to do this again. I wonder if they really are.
In Florida. Mr. Stauch had been gone on his new assignment for less than 2 days when the fire in the basement occurred.
Yes, yes.
I can imagine that you saw your whole future consisting of taking care of Mr. Stauch's children while he was off doing his thing, and that's not the future that you wanted.
Nope.
I can imagine Gannon at some point after he sustained his burns telling you wanted his real mom and how that comment would have made you angry. You took your frustration and anger for the marriage, the child care, the absence of Al, and even living in Colorado.
Yep.
You took all of that out on Gannon.
Amen.
The evidence suggests
I do like what he's saying. I like how he's cool, calm, and collective. But yes, this is the judge that should have kicked the juror off, knowing he knew that that juror was a son-in-law of somebody in the 4th district, and the policy was of that, but he had the final say. So
You first stabbed Gannon repeatedly, 18 times. Based on the number of defensive wounds,
no,
he was clearly conscious for some of that. He was certainly gravely wounded.
really, I didn't know that. I didn't realize that, or I forgot.
And chillingly, it would also explain how you were able to mimic the sound of Gannon breathing in one of your sessions with Dr. Lewis.
You hear that? Listen to this.
Those were probably close to his last breaths. He was dying but not dead. The evidence could also lead one to conclude that he either fell or rolled off the bed where you shot him in the head and then beat him with the butt of a gun or a baseball bat. That would explain the blood found at different levels on the walls in Gannon's bedroom.
You hear this stuff? Is in his room, guys.
I'm also reminded of the look you had on your face when you slipped your handcuffs while being transported back to Colorado and attacked Deputy James.
Yes. Yes.
I shudder to think that that was probably the last thing that Gannon saw before he died.
Yep.
You have shown no remorse
None.
throughout this process.
Zero.
Instead, you've made a choice to build a web of lies. When you gave an interview to Detective Jessica Bethel on January 29 of 2020, you lied to her about Gannon running away and that he was actually taken by a guy named Eduardo.
It was Eduardo.
When you explained that to Detective Bethel, you said you needed to lie because you didn't want to face the consequences. You told her that you were trying to come up with a plan about what you should do. And finally, you told her you really thought you could fix this. I think that's true.
Damn.
You lied because you didn't want to face the consequences. You needed to come up with a plan to fix this, and that plan involved covering up what you had done. It involved lie upon lie. But you slipped up at various points and let kernels of truth escape.
She sure did.
In one conversation with Mr. Stauch, you told him the FBI needed to close the borders of Colorado, needed to close I-95.
And guys, that's what gave them the idea of where she dumped the body. If you listen close enough to somebody, what they say or don't say. Hashtag Jen Soto. What do we have in here? What is it? What is it? I don't even remember now. 192. What was it that she said the road over and over and over? We have that as a as a little icon. Reverse conviction must have the president behind it. Gotta upset the American people on Good Friday. Daniel Martell told law enforcement to close borders. She was enjoying all the lies and stories, the text, etc. There you go. 192. See, I don't always remember stuff unless it's written down because I have a lot in my head. 192, 192, 192, 192. Jen Soto, she did the same thing in those not jail calls, in the calls to Al. She slips up quite a bit. Yes. Yeah. I don't expect anything else, right? All right, let's continue.
I-95 doesn't go through Colorado. It's an interstate that runs along the entire eastern seaboard. It's also not far from where you dumped Gannon's body. When questioned by Detective Bethel, you told her that Mr. Stauch might also make up some kind of story about you coming at him with a knife. He said you would never use a knife like that. Yet Gannon was stabbed 18 times. Your actions in this case also show a very conscious attempt to avoid responsibility in this case. You started out with the story that Gannon had run away. You gave some hints that it might be related to bath salts or drug use by Gannon. You stayed with that story until you were called into EPSO for an interview. You knew they weren't going to buy the story that Gannon ran away. Then you came up with the abduction. And you stayed with some iteration of that for a long time. But all of those versions had one thing in common. You were always the victim.
Yes.
In one, you're beaten and raped and Gannon was abducted. In one, someone stole Gannon out of a truck in the parking lot. In another, you let someone drive Gannon to a hospital to take care of a head injury that he had after falling off a bike. In all of them, you could claim it wasn't your fault. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Hey, Falconess.
Then you got arrested. You stuck to the story that it was someone else that took Gannon. During the hours that you spoke with Special Agent Grusing, he told you he thought sometimes Good people do bad things, and sometimes it's an accident. Then they found Gannon's body.
Yep, that's what sealed the deal.
Then you saw the mountain of evidence against you. And this is a mountain the size of Everest.
Amen, brother.
What was your position after that? Well, it was an accident. And you, Letecia, didn't even do it. It was Maria Sanchez.
Now, she made up that name, Maria Sanchez, and she said, I don't even speak Spanish. But then she started pretending to speak Spanish with the psychiatrist. Shelly, happy Good Friday. Whatever y'all believe, spread the love, compassion, and the truth. Amen. Amen, Shelly. You're right. All right. No wonder the judge feels his actions or non-actions led to or leads to a new trial. Me too. I would love to have seen that. No remorse. And I'm glad that he brought up the part about her in the transport where she hit her with an energy drink. That was wild, guys. That was like she was possessed.
You carefully crafted your new story to continue to avoid responsibility. It also allowed you to take advantage of the out that Mr. Grusing and Mr. Stauch suggested much, much earlier when they asked you if this was an accident. Now it was an accident. Your Maria Sanchez personality shot Gannon by mistake because she thought he was an intruder in a cape.
That took away his cape, too.
Multiple personalities is not credible in this setting, as regardless of how many personalities you have, you only have one body. I have presided over cases where a mental disease or defect prevented a defendant from remembering the course of events, including the commission of the crime. Without exception, those defendants have been terrified when contacted by law enforcement because there was a period of time in their lives that they could not account for.
It was a monster.
Their body may have sustained an injury, and they don't know how it happened. They may have some new object in their house or on their person, and they have no idea where they got it from. We all have free will, and we all make choices based.
I mean, I gotta admit, I do love how he went about this. However, the reason that she's getting a new trial is also because of this judge. All right. So I want you to realize that. And I know you're in the future, Falconess Australia. So welcome to the past.
Based on that free will. The people who suffer from the mental disorder you claim are terrified because their free will has been taken from them, and they are being subjected to things and experiences they don't understand and don't have any recollection of. You didn't behave anything like that. One of the purposes is to impose an appropriate sentence for the criminal conduct that occurred. Another purpose is to punish an offender by imposing a sentence that takes into account the seriousness of the offense. Yet another purpose of sentencing is to prevent crime and promote respect for the law by providing an effective deterrent to others likely to commit a similar offense.
That's okay, Falconess.
Anyone who's been in my courtroom before knows that I've said sentencings are the most difficult thing that I do. That's especially true in cases where someone has lost his or her life.
Well, sir, you should pay more attention to how you pick the jury as well. So the family and the world doesn't have to go through this again. Now, the money, it doesn't matter. Whatever. We know that the law and we know that wars and crime and all that, that's part of our world. That's part of their jobs. They really don't. And I'm saying I'm talking about the justice system. They set prisoners up they set them up for failure so they can come back. They can't rehabilitate everyone or they wouldn't have a job. I want you guys to realize that. If you don't know anybody or you've never known anybody that's been arrested or gone to jail, they set you up for failure.
Nothing I or the law can do will ever bring that person back. I have handled hundreds, if not thousands, of criminal cases over the years. I think at this point in my career, I presided over something like 200 jury trials. I've sentenced hundreds more defendants pursuant to plea agreements.
Yep.
This is not the first murder case that has come before me. This is not the first case I have presided over which involves harm to a child. This is not the first case I have had where a person who was in an unhappy marriage committed a crime. Sadly, statistically, there is a high correlation.
All right, my friends, one more time. All right. Letecia Stauch's case that we're talking about right now it's already overturned. The conviction is completely overturned because Colorado Court of Appeals overturned it because the judge let a juror Sorry, the dogs. The judge let a juror in that was a son-in-law who worked as a deputy in their 4th judicial district office. Okay, so you cannot have a juror that's related. They have a legit law in Colorado. Under the law, a juror is required to be automatically removed if they are related within the 3rd degree to anyone in the elected DA's office. Now, the appeals court ruled that the judge's failure, this judge's failure to dismiss this juror was a structural error, which automatically necessitates a new trial regardless of the evidence presented in the first one. All right, 2023 conviction, which is what resulted in life without the possibility of parole, plus 156 years. Now that's vacated. That whole thing is vacated and it's gone. The case will now be sent to the lower courts in El Paso County. The district attorney's office will now have to decide whether to retry the case from the beginning or what. Now, despite the reversal, it's standard procedure for a defendant in first-degree murder to remain in custody without bond. This 4th Judicial District Attorney's Office has not issued a formal statement on how they plan to proceed. But right now, the plan is to retry this case because of this judge's error. Hopefully, you guys understand that, and thank you. I appreciate you.
Between violent acts, including murders and family members. I have had a number of cases which have demonstrated one person's capacity for cruelty toward another human being.
Thank you.
I can, however, say without hesitation that the facts in this case are the most horrific I have ever seen.
Yes, they will use the same evidence.
Your conduct in this case deserves the maximum punishment that I can impose under Colorado law.
Welcome, Bella.
As such, with respect to the charge of first-degree murder after deliberation, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. With respect to the charge of murder in the first degree of a child under 12 by a person in a position of trust, I remand you to the custody of the Colorado Department of Corrections for the remainder of your life with no possibility of parole. Those two sentences will merge. If you have questions about that, you can ask your attorneys. With respect to the charge of tampering with the deceased human body, I'm also going to sentence you to 12 years, followed by a 3-year period of parole. That sentence is to be consecutive to the life sentences that I've already imposed. With respect to tampering with physical evidence, I'm going to impose an 18-month sentence. That sentence is also consecutive to the sentences for the murder charges that I have imposed. I also understand, with the consent of the prosecution, and I'm assuming no objection from the defense, that I will dismiss all the charges in 20 CR 3170, close that out subject to restitution, give the people 49 days for restitution, 14 days for response. And if there's an issue, we will set it within the 90 days, within 90 days from.
He did know.
I think that resolves all outstanding matters. Is there anything else that the prosecution wishes for me to address?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Defense? Court will be in recess.
Look at her. She doesn't even care. She might as well just crawl out of court. She's a freaking beast. Now, for those of you that just rolled in, I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to show you that video for you guys to remember on the way out. That way, when you come back, you know what you were getting into in this case. All right. So here we go. This is her being extradited back to Colorado, and watch it. Well, wait. Damn, girl.
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Or she keeps threatening me.
Damn. She said she keeps threatening me. All right, one more time, guys. One more time. No. Me too. Yep. Look at that. She just turned evil. She fucking bashed her. She's like,
She keeps threatening me. Stop. Well, she keeps threatening me.
all right. I do like the beat to that, but anyhow. All right, guys. You guys are my loyal crime crew. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on a Friday for almost 3 hours. She's a doctor, y'all. She's got a doctorate. She looks legit possessed. I know. I hope they kicked her ass after they didn't. They tried to get her out and she injured the lady. She put her dead weight down and made her have a surgery. Not good, my friend. Not good. All right. Check this out. Happy Friday. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I will continue to cover this case. I promise to keep you guys updated on what the response is from the court because they haven't responded. If the judge is going to respond, will the prosecutors be trying this again? What? And hey, I think we should do some jail calls. I'm going to do some jail calls for y'all next week when I get the important breaking news stuff out of the way. Well, maybe midweek. Like we used to do Watts Wednesday. You remember Watts Wednesday, guys? Let me put this up real quick so you guys can see Justice 4. And then I've got something going on. Hold on. Something just started playing. Happy Easter, everybody. She didn't throw a monster drink. She beat her with a can. She took the monster can and was just hitting her with it. All right, guys, I love you all. Have a safe Easter and a blessed weekend. And I will be back on, I don't know, maybe. I should be back Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week. Thank you, Rocco. Have a good Easter, everyone. Justice for all victims. Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I really do. I couldn't do this without y'all, so thank you. All right, guys. Love you. And like Cleveland says, peace.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?